That one was spicy.
So the Warriors have to play 48 minutes.
So I see this going 7. I have it. I have the Nuggets in 7.
Ant-Man, Batman, Watchmen, Lakers at 5.
It's money time now.
All right, what's going on YouTube? How y'all doing, man? How y'all doing? Again, I say now, it's a privilege to come on here and talk to you guys about hoops, the game. Or talk about sports in general. Again, we talk about everything over here, and hoops is the main focus. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna try to have a good one for y'all now. But apparently, the news of the day, other than Shaq threatening RG3 to go upside his head, is the Bleacher Report top 100. So that's feeding a lot of content creators and getting a lot of talking points out there. Shout out to Lowe, because see that they just played that on the GoCast podcast. There's a little reaction to it. Again, I'm not I don't agree. People I don't agree with, I will get them props when I do agree with. People I don't usually agree with on things, I will give them props when I usually agree with. But he was pointing out a lot of the inconsistencies, right? And see, this is what happens, man. This is what happens when you do these top 100 things, man. There's 100 people. There's about another 25 other people. It's like, why ain't they on the list, right? It'd be 100. There's 100 people and another 25 people. Where is he? Where is he? And you're never going to satisfy everybody, right? So I find it interesting, the conversations that come from this. And again, it's feeding the content. So we can't even get too mad. But what we can do is point out inconsistencies. And as I say, a Kobe and a Akeem was done a little dirty, in my opinion. You understand what I'm saying? Akeem and Kobe were done a little dirty, in my opinion. So, in addition to other egregious ones, I don't like where Dominique Wilkins is. I think they got him at 50, which is cool, because they didn't, as we know, they didn't even put him on the 97 top 50 team. I don't know why. I don't know what that was about. God had a good, distinguished 15-year career by that point, but they did fix it when they put him on the top 75 list a few years ago. You know what I'm saying? So, you know how it goes, man. As time goes by, perspectives has changed. The Kobe disrespect. I mean, I could start off with that as an overview. It's just crazy because it's so inconsistent. Again, using something like he didn't never led the league in PER. When again, Lowe made a good point that Kobe won the scoring title with 35 points a game, and then Iverson averaged 33 points a game. Most other seasons, that 33 points a game gets the scoring title. Again, Kobe never led the league in PER. For 1 year, he was second to Dirk and LeBron at 28 points. He was third, and Dirk and LeBron had 28.1. I mean, again, the level of nitpicking, and when you start using stats, I just want people to understand that there's a consensus to it, I'm sure. And again, you got different people voting on their criteria. And, I know that it's all fashionable to use ChatGPT, which ain't another non-perfect way to do it. I'm going to say this, man. There's no perfect way to do this thing. And shout out to JB pulling up. You know what I'm saying? There's no perfect way to do this top 100 thing. What's up? What's going on? Yeah, C-Dub will be in the back. Yeah, appreciate.
I'm in the back.
Okay. Well, yeah, me and you finna cook on this. And like I said, there's no perfect way to do this top 100 debate. And you're gonna have a million discussions and a million debates. Again, if I could look at some of my most egregious ones, Melo being 17 spots behind Reggie Miller is my. Again, I know you talk goodness and greatness. Melo was a greater and better player than Reggie Miller. Let's keep it a stack. I understand that Reggie Miller, got the list of conference finals, and Melo got to one conference finals. That's what you're boiling it down to. Again, to me, I start off with best. Were you the best or among the best, and how long? Reggie Miller was never among the best players in the league, bros. You know, again, that's the same thing. Look, everybody wants to romance Scottie Pippen. And again, Scottie Pippen had those couple of years where he got to shine without Mike being there. But if we're going to do the Scottie Pippen thing, again, you know, people don't like that he's 28. I'm not mad. I think he belongs in the 20s or 30s. I'm not mad. If you where he don't belong is outside the top 50, and that's what my Chat GPT did the first time. And that's why I say Chat GPT, I don't care what you feed it with, is not a perfect way to do these debates either. You know what I'm saying, JB? What's your early take on this brouhaha?
Yeah.
You got any take on this top 100 controversy? Have you looked at the list, or does it even matter?
At the end of the day, the Bleacher Report did that top 100 sitting at the top of the bleachers. That's how I view it.
Exactly. Exactly. I mean, you know, it's a bunch of nerds and their computers and their VORPs and their PRs. Nobody, the eye tests that you can't even trust. I mean, it's got to be some sort of, again, at the end of the day, like I said, they took it, about however many people voted, they averaged it out, and they gave you what they gave you. And they'll do this every few years, I guess, to stir the pot. And I get, hey, you know, stir them pot. Yeah, shout out. That was a bar, JB, the top of the bleachers. You know what I'm saying?
Man,
so
I like that.
That's a bar, bro. We gonna come up with some bars over here. They put me. I told you they put me in rap songs. You know, they say I'm long-winded and I don't got nothing to say. I invite you to come over here and have a conversation, man, because not too many platforms give you a chance. They talk at you. They condescend.
Hey, check it out though. Do you know it's money time? That's when cats start clearing out. That's all that matters at the end of the day. That's your catchphrase, huh? And trying to blow somebody's house down. When the smoke clear, when it's money time, the cream rises to the top.
Yes. And speaking of money time, you the Laker fan here. I'm not the Laker fan. I'm the Kobe hater, to be honest, right? I'm the Kobe hater, but I'm also the guy that speaks the truth. How many better money time players was there than Kobe Bean Bryant, the Black Mamba? I'm gonna let you go for that.
And this what it comes down to. Okay, 2000. They won it. Kobe and Shaq and Kobe won their first title together. That Shaq was the man. You know, he was the MVP that year. He was in his prime. He had the most tenure in the league. You know what I'm saying? So even Kobe acknowledged that year that was Shaq's team per se. But even then, Kobe was already becoming the best closer in the game. He was the best facilitator of the Lakers and the best man-on-man defender. So at the end of the day, and best free throw shooter, in pressure situations. So it wasn't until Kobe really ascended, that's when they started winning them championships. And I believe he was the best closer in the game throughout the decade of the 2000s.
Yeah, and, I mean, look. Yeah.
And also he was selected as a player of the decade by Sport News magazine, Sports Illustrated, and David Stern even made an announcement official by way of NBA.com. So I mean that pretty much says it all right there.
That happened. 4 championships in that decade. And again, the haters want to give him credit for one of them, right? Which is stupid. He brings in a new decade, still win a championship. Won a championship. Either way, you got 5 championships in 11 years. You got 3 championships with. See, I'm gonna call Mr. FYF Rain Man because I'm gonna call him Rain Man. No, and no disrespect, because I'm sure you did speak to one of the voters, right? I'm sure you did speak to one of the voters, but you cannot say that they did not use analytics. Now, you can say that analytics wasn't the only thing they used, but I'm sure they use. See, that's what you do. You go one way or another. You telling me they just use eye test accolades and all that? No. They use come on, they had to use. There's no way if you're gonna tell me you have multiple voters. Like I'm still asking. I don't know how many voters. No, I do know there were multiple voters. I'm assuming at least 5. I'm assuming probably 10 or maybe up to a dozen to 15. And whatever. However many is, people are using analytics. They use everything in these criteria. And everybody got different criteria. So we know that. Like, to say they didn't use analytics, it's just that's not a statement you can use. Now, they did not only use analytics. That's a conversation that turns into a different conversation. Yes, they used a variety of things. And see, this is what we get content on. This is what we get conversation out of. Talking about exactly what they did use. They used a bunch of different things. And again, what we're going to come down to prove is that they were not consistent. As people trying to say, is it about defense? Is it about offense? Is it about the eye test? No, it's probably about a different thing because you're going to have different interpretations. Again, you had one guy that had George Mikan in his top 10. You had another guy that had George Mikan 80. That's the spread because they showed you. There was a couple of people when I was reading the article where they didn't show you what was the highest ranking, what was the lowest ranking, individual ranking. So again, there's one guy that thinks George Mikan was the 80th best player, which is I'd probably put him somewhere outside of the top 50 only because of my, again, segregation type take on it. But yeah, to have him 10, okay, obviously you're just being unbiased. Again, the guy had a 7-8 year career, which again was probably standard of that time. Again, you got to think about time and all that. Look, man, I'll say this, there's no perfect way to do it. I think Kobe is definitely top 10. That's my opinion, and I would debate anybody on it. I think Hakeem Olajuwon is top 10. I think Curry is not there and not there yet. I think Curry has a chance with a couple more years to maybe put a cement. And it ain't just about winning another ring. It ain't just about winning another ring because, again, people will say, well, what is it about rings? And Russell should be the GOAT. It's about and again, any good criteria would have the combination of a lot of different things. Because as I try to say, these players are all all-time greats. They're all think about this. There are Hall of Famers that aren't on this list because obviously there are more than 100 Hall of Fame players, right? So if you want to go from 100 Hall of Famer to all-time great to all-time top 50 to all-time top 25 to all-time top 20 to all-time top 10, those are the different levels and layers that we have to look at. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, it might be boring and to say it like that, but that's the way it goes. Again, Draymond Green, people think he shouldn't be on the list, which some people didn't have him on the list, and some people think he's too high. Do I think he's a better player than Chauncey Billups? Well, I don't know. I don't think he's better than Bernard King, even all things considered. But again, the fact that he has the 4 rings is going to put him ahead of Bernard King. So I mean, like we could you could go back and forth. Trust me. I saw our predecessors on GoCast. They had a nice spirited debate, and like I said, I was trying to say, like, we got to wrap this up because y'all need to put this. Y'all need to go in the ring. We got the debate league on. That's the Kobe versus LeBron debate. Because anybody that said it isn't a Kobe versus LeBron debate, there is. That's the one you being biased one way or the other. Again, people don't like that I got LeBron 8 and I got him right behind Kobe. They don't like that. I could debate it. I supposedly lost when I pulled up the Gold Chase Kingdom against T Perfect, but that was my first time doing that 5 minutes. I couldn't formulate and come up with all that. I knew that the numbers is not going. I'm not going to try to support that take with numbers because I know what the numbers are. See, think about this. When you use numbers to compare LeBron and Kobe, and if you use rings, both methods are poor methods. Both methods, in my opinion, make no sense. You understand what I'm saying? Oh, he said Lamar said it was 175 voters. Shit. Okay. Now you saw how I just assumed it was like 12 to 15? JB? JB, you with me?
Oh, no, I'm here.
Okay. You saw how I just assumed it was 12 to 15?
It was that many voters, 170?
LeBron said 175. So, Jesus Christ. What did they just let everybody and their mama vote? There's 175 people working for. You mean to tell me there's 175 people working for Bleacher Report? Okay. See, now we dealing with all types of fuckery. But okay, shout out to Lamont. Shout out to Lamont for giving us that info, for breaking it here. There's 175 voters that voted on this. And he said he talked to one of them, and apparently they tried to do everything they could to get Kobe in the top. Come on, man. Stop it. Well, I just want to get on this point. Like, we use numbers, obviously. Let's look at it this way. The way LeBron was used, right? LeBron is a unique case because he is the main guy who plays in a certain system that's always built around him, right? And he's going to, have a certain amount of usage. It's going to plus he plays a different position, a different role, and different everything. Now, if you see the thumbnail, I think GoCat put it on, and I made, I kind of swerve people in here saying that the Clippers. Trust me, we are not going to talk about the bubble. We are not, JB. I promise you, in the audience, we are not going to talk about the bubble tonight. It ain't about the 2020 bubble ring. And
Ain't nothing to say about that.
Ain't nothing to say about that. The point to that conversation, me and Cino had was we both agreed that the Clippers have been better than the Lakers every season, really, in reality, since 2012. And in reality, they have. Now, a few of those years, a lot of those years, they've made it further in the playoffs, apparently, definitely, right? Obviously, the Lob City years, right? After they turned down, they famously rescinded the Chris Paul trade to the Lakers. But the Clippers have, from 2012 on, have been better almost every year. And I said, including the 2020 year, because if the Clippers didn't get bored in that bubble, they wouldn't have lost focus and they would have played the Lakers in the conference finals. And again, I know I missed the hate hypotheticals. If Casual was watching, I missed the hate hypotheticals, but I feel that way. That's an opinion that I have. I can't prove it. So he said all sports writers did a top 100. Wow. Okay. So again, I mean, obviously you got a lot of Kobe haters across the country, but yeah, man. I just said, so that led to me thinking about tonight's topic. People have a hard time really understanding teams. And like I said, I feel that the Clippers have a better team than the Lakers now. And I feel that every one of these years, including 2020, that the Clippers had a better team. Now, it didn't necessarily, because they had so snake big and they had the injuries, again, they was on their way to the finals, in my opinion. Again, that's another hypothetical, and that's another would-have, but they lost in the middle of the conference finals. They lost Kawhi Leonard, or no, it was the second round, actually. Yeah, when he dunked on Rudy Gobert. Yeah, he dunked on Rudy Gobert and tore his ACL doing it. Kawhi Leonard. But Paul George still closed out that series against a good Utah team, right? And then they had a representative conference finals against the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, so the franchise has been snake bit, but right now they're in better shape than the Lakers. So it makes me think, because like I was telling you, about Bradley Beal and people saying, "Oh, Bradley Beal ain't gonna do nothing for them. Bradley Beal ain't gonna do nothing for them." No, he's not. Look, if they were gonna build their team around, make sure that Bradley Beal is an important part of the team. Yeah, you're not counting on them for that. You're counting on them for a different reason. You're counting on them because you have a bunch of injuries, right? Go ahead.
The thing about what's going on with the Clippers right now, man, is that I'm gonna tell you now. I couldn't stand Lob City. Because I thought the league actually put that team together. I couldn't stand them, and I always rooted against them. But this Clipper team, if they
Mhm.
win the championship, it'd be one of the greatest moments in the history of this league. Now,
Yeah.
what happened with Bill in Phoenix? Number one, they got rid of all their defensive players, and they was trying to outscore people, and they had Bill play as the point guard. They was never going to win like that. But now
Mhm.
Bill is playing his natural two-guard position.
Yep.
And I'm telling you, this Clipper team, dog, this nigga Steve Ballmer, I got to have it. He's been the perfect owner, man. He got a new arena. You know, all the jokes back in the day, oh man, they play in the same arena as the Lakers. Because I used to say it too. You know, we all get your own arena. Well, them days over. You know what I'm saying?
If you just pulled up, go ahead.
This team, now I remember Magic Johnson said something about Zubac when he traded to the Clippers. He said, it ain't like I trade to a team that can win the championship one day. Well, he better hold his breath because Zubac has entered his prime and they know that he can score now. Hey, man, this team, man, he got
Brook Lopez backing him up.
And that's a perfect role for Lopez at this stage of his career. And they kept all their defenders, Derrick Jones Jr., Chris Dunn, Nick Batum. They kept Bojan Bogdanovic coming off the bench, they sharpshooter. But when they got John Collins to play their power, because that's why they lost to the Nuggets, because they didn't have no power forward. And Aaron Gordon was tearing them up. This Clipper team, man, they got it. If they stay healthy and feed Zubac the way, because he should. Kawhi can always be the superstar there, but Zubac got to be that number 2 option. If they incorporate him right, and Bill play out, because Bill can be their number 3 scorer. Whoo!
Look, Bill don't even have to. Here's my thing. Here's the way I see it. Bill don't even have to start. Bill is house money, right? Remember how we talk about house money? Bill is house money. That team is great without Bill. Again, I'm starting Derrick Jones Jr. at the 2, but I'm using Bill because I know there's going to be an inevitable heart injury. You know, again, these guys are getting long in the tooth. I know there's going to be an inevitable Kawhi injury. So I'm happy to have Bill because now when one of them guys go down, I got an experienced 32-year-old guy that can score. They're not using it with Phoenix. Phoenix, he needed to play a role, and the chemistry with him, and Booker never really worked out. Booker's not a natural point guard. Bill's not a natural point guard. You understand what I'm saying? Now Harden can be a natural point guard, and you have a little bit more versatility bringing the guy at Bill as the end, you know, like to be a 6-man spot starter when needed type of role. You understand what I'm saying? You're not like this is Kawhi and Harden's team for sure, right? Those are the all-NBA talents, right? Harden actually made the all-NBA. Kawhi didn't have enough games, but you know, this is Kawhi's team. When Kawhi showed you he's vintage Kawhi. See, again, it's all about. So I say that's why I wanted this title the way it is, bro.
Ooh.
You know,
I'm telling you, man.
People don't know how to build teams.
They got John Collins, and they gunning for Chris Paul. Chris Paul, all he need to do really, man, just give him veteranship.
Yeah,
I mean, they may get it this year. This may, cause see, they've been lacking a 4, and this. See, it was the first time they started feeding Zubac that ball. I'm telling you, they said he working on a 12, 15-foot jump shot inside that paint. If he get that to his game,
yeah, I feel you. You know what I'm saying?
Man.
Yeah, I mean, again, I think they covering all bases. See, that's what it is. When you build rosters, you have to cover all bases. And shout out, I didn't put out the video yet. I didn't have time, so I just came up with the stream. But I'm gonna put out the video that I did about Mark Jones talking to Knicks Fan TV right after I'm done here. You know, after we finish the show. But it's like when you analyze these teams, man, you gotta see that all bases are covered. Because again, you gotta build for the playoffs, but you also gotta build for the regular season. It's 82 games. It's a long season. There's a lot of games. There's a lot. So you know, the idea, especially that's why I like the play-in, because it stopped these teams from thinking, as long as I get a seed, my team is good enough to go make a run. Well, no, you got to deal with that play-in now. And dealing with that play-in, we've already seen that teams can still get to the conference finals or the finals from the play-in position, but you're not guaranteed nothing. And then when you're in a deep Western Conference like the Clippers are, again, think about how many people like Philly in the top 3, right? Philly is now one of them stupid super teams. I call them stupid teams that are built with 3 guys making max money. So when 2 of those guys go down, you already see Paul George has got his knee scoped. That contract is doo-doo. Hey, Rap God, Zubac should have been an all-star last year. I was trying to get him on, but maybe he'll get it this year. Zubac should have been an all-star last year, in my opinion. For sure. You know, look, I mean, well, yeah, that contract is doo-doo because, again, you paying a guy 35 years old what already had knee issues already, and you're giving him $50 million a year. Again, man, you got to be careful how you spend that money. So again, this conversation started with me and Sino, and I hope Sino see the thumbnail and pull up, you know, or whatever. But
and
me and Sino was talking about
now, man. I think where the league is headed, their money's gonna go. It's gonna be based on your performance and the stage of the career that you're in. Like you know, as you let's say after your rookie deal, right?
Mm-hmm.
You sign that first extension, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then as you enter your prime, that's when you're gonna get that supermax. You know, because I don't think you're gonna see as much superstar player movement as we've seen in the past decade. And then after that, by the time you start hitting the back end of your prime, it's gonna be more performance based, man. I don't think these teams gonna get locked up in these contracts no more.
And it's gonna be a lot of hurt feelings, right? Yeah. There's gonna be a lot of hurt feelings. There's gonna be a lot of hurt feelings.
We're gonna buy you out. We'll take the initial hit. But no, we ain't gonna pay this whole salary, dog. You out here, you know,
stretch provision. I forgot it.
8 points a game less than what you normally score.
Yeah, be like, what did you say? But it's gonna cost another lockout. Yeah, we gonna see because people gonna get stuck. You know, again, like I forgot the stretch provision was a thing, right? That was remember everybody had the amnesty. You get to use the amnesty one time, right? Where it's forgiveness, but we also had the stretch provision where, again, remember, because that was the issue with the max contract. People were getting max contract, and then by the end of that max contracts, they were shells of the player that they were when they got the max contract, and owners got sick of being stuck paying a guy max money that was no longer performing. So it's like in football. You can cut a guy that's no longer up to his standards. You know, that's why they use signing bonuses, because then that gives the team the cap penalty, right? But you could the contracts in football are not fully guaranteed. So that signing bonus that the guaranteed part of football contract. Right? Basketball, the contracts are 100% fully guaranteed. So, it's. You gotta be careful about how you and see. It's gonna mess up a lot of legacies too, right? Because we could delve back into the top 100. You're gonna start looking at, again. I'll say this: LeBron has been worth his money most of the time. Again, as we know, even with the money, even if he wasn't a $50 million player, 48, whatever he was, I don't think he was he was in terms of profitability and merchandise sales, and that's the thing. One thing we was talking about with Sino, owners. Let's keep it a stack. Most of the owners in the league, I say about 2/3 of the owners in the league come into every year not trying to win championships. Right? Would you agree, JB? That most owners are not trying to win championships because they know they don't have the team to win a championship. What they're trying to do is turn as much profit as they can. And, they know they got a 30-win team, so they're gonna try to market and sell it and spin it the best way they can. And that's why you started having these like teams like the Sixers openly tank for a few years, because if you either got the superstar you can market around, or you got a team that can compete for a championship. If you got both, then great. But if you got one or the other, and see, unfortunately, let's keep it real. Genie kind of realized it with the Lakers. They had a team that they hope could get to a championship. But realistically, the Lakers have not been a championship contender since 2020. 2021, I tell you, that team was horrible. The team was not good. It was not good. But LeBron injury and AD injury aside, that team was not good. They weren't. But everybody thought they were the favorites going in. We all know the next year that me and you both said that team wasn't going to be good and stuff like that, right? Yeah. You know, but you gotta, that's why I try to analyze stuff right here about building teams. I said 10 teams. There are 10 teams, 4 in the East, 6 in the West, that can say we should be swinging for the championship. I think Milwaukee, because they got Giannis, is one of those teams outside of the 10. But because they got Giannis, they're going to try because they want to keep Giannis. But let's keep it real. The moves they made are not championship moves. I know they got Cole Anthony, who, if he works out, Cole Anthony is not a championship point guard. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but yeah, most teams are not trying. They're just trying to turn a profit as best way possible. They trying to market whatever star they have. They trying to push him or let him get if a guy get a scoring title. Hey, look, man, shout out to the OKC Thunder. Again, they did it step by step. They knew that the year that they knew they weren't going to win a championship, they did the right thing. And then they knew in a couple of years we going, you know what I'm saying? So the Pacers, sort of the same thing. And the Pacers put themselves into the point where they got to the finals. Again, a lot of teams, teams trying to go back to 2-3 stars and the rest role players. And again, you got to watch out the ingredients to building a team. This idea of stack every superstar you can, because that's what got a lot of people fooled, thinking teams are great because they got 2-3 superstars at the top. Now, look, one of the things Mark Jones was talking about with CP on the CP the franchise on Knicks Fan TV was how, it's good to have a good 2-man game. And, the Knicks potentially with Mike Brown, he can work out a good 2-man game like they did kind of with Sabonis and Fox. And then, everybody else worked off of that, right? Fox is a lefty. Sabonis was good in the pick and pop. So he's thinking that they can run what they're doing with Brunson and once they also take the ball out of his hand a little bit, Brunson's hand a little bit, get a secondary playmaker, a lot of things that Thibodeau really didn't do. And that's the way, because remember that first year with Sacramento 2 years ago, Sacramento was like elite offensively, right? They had
the greatest offensive rating in league history.
See what I mean? Yeah. So that's what a lot of I'm expecting. And again, you gotta play like as Mark Jones, a really good mind, really good, one of the best guys out there. One of the best things about ESPN. Now, I took him to task on kind of sleeping on my Knicks, but that's another story. But he said it's a lot of teams, they play concept basketball. You gotta put a roster that fits your concept of how you play offense and how you play defense. And that's where you get the differentiating in what teams are in this day and age. Everybody shoots the 3, but there's still different concepts on how you build your team. Are you building it around a point guard? Are you building it around, See, I want to get back to the Kobe versus LeBron debate, right? Right, in a way you judge them in the top 5, in the top 100. LeBron is naturally going to have the better numbers, but does that mean he was the better performer? And that's where the debate comes in. Because if you go performance by performance, oh yeah, you're going to see LeBron, especially in the second part of his career, like, Miami and behind, he's going to have great performance by numbers. But if you judge the eye test, see, Kobe had these great performances early in his career, and then Kobe had them great performances up to the last ring of 31. That was, the funny part is, 2010, and he's 31 years old. That was the last time Kobe was healthy for a playoff run. Y'all do realize that, right? You realize that, right, JB?
Oh yeah, that was really after the.
That was the last time he was, and again,
with the 2011, 2012 season.
See, 2011, 2011. You're right, 2011. So he was 32 at that point, right? Going on 33. Okay, you can say he was relatively healthy. I got to see what the numbers are. But again, let's just go to the concept. Mike Brown is now the coach in 2011, right? Phil left after the third one. No, hold on. Mike Brown was no. It was Phil. Phil was the coach in 2010-11, right?
Yep.
Then Mike Brown took over at 11-12.
Yeah.
11-12, and he coached the first 5 games of the 12-13. Okay. Again, it was okay. I know. No, Andrew Bonner made the All-Star. Brown. Which again, that's a good sign for my Knicks, right? If he turned Andrew Bynum into an All-Star, what could he turn? What could he turn Karl Anthony Towns in? But then the idea too is what kind of coach. But the fact of the matter is, the way Kobe was using the triangle offense all those years was completely different than the way LeBron used. Kobe fit into a system just like MJ. The system itself, and I know a lot of people. I know those guys are gonna say that's bullshit, blah blah blah, and they hated the system and they hated Phil. You know, Kobe was used a different way than LeBron was used. LeBron, the way LeBron's used is gonna shine on his all-time numbers. The same way, the way Wilt Chamberlain was used early in his career shined on the numbers at the first part of his career. Now, as you notice, for Phil to win, he had to step back on his numbers, right? He had to play like he had to do more the things that Russell do. You look, now we got a team where you don't got to score 40 every night, 35 every night. You ain't got to put up them world numbers. Focus on these things and we'll win. And what happened? This is shout out to the coach. God damn it, his name is what was Wilt's you know Wilt's coaching 68, number 67? Shit. I should know this. You remember Wilt's coaching 67 Maine? I don't want to look it up.
Who was coaching the Sixers?
Yeah, it was the same guy that coached him early in Philadelphia.
Is that his name? Alex Hannum?
Alex Hannum, yes. Shout out to Alex Hannum, because Alex Hannum, who retired rather than go to San Francisco, once the Nationals came to Philadelphia and became the 76ers, that's when Alex Hannum came back and they got Wilt. And again, Alex Hannum was like, look, I should have did this back when we was in Philadelphia the first time.
It's kind of weird that how Wilt start off with the Philadelphia Warriors. Yes. And then they moved to San Francisco Warriors. And then he went back to Philly. It's kind of confusing if you really don't.
It is
study,
because that's
how that went down.
Yeah, that's the story. When I was watching, they making the case for a series by Clayton Crawley. He was. I learned this. I oversaw this when my early studying of the league. When I was younger, but it was Paul Arizin retired, right? After when Philadelphia moved to San Francisco, Alex Hannum retired. It was another player that retired. I can't remember, but those were the best players. Those were two of the best players, Wilt's teammates and the coach. So when he goes out to San Francisco, he don't have the same team he had in Philly. You understand what I'm saying? And the team suffered for that. So now Alex Hannum came back, and now he's playing with Billy Cunningham, Chet Walker, Hal Greer. You understand what I'm saying? Lucy Jackson and all.
They call Billy Cunningham the Kangaroo Kid because he had hot.
Exactly. So now he got a squad, and for the first time in his life, he got a squad that could go head to head with the Celtics. But again, remember, he changed the way he played. LeBron has never had to change the way he played. Teams changed the way they put teams around him. And again, that's no knock on. I'm not trying to knock LeBron with that, but that's going to explain the numbers. Again, as you notice, Kobe has his best overall numbers when Shaq left the team, right? Naturally. But again, what they don't conceptualize is that Kobe had the great performances early in their career. So now, to me, I don't care how many people voted, 175 or 5. Those voters are not giving Kobe his just due credit for those first 3 championships.
Well,
Because as
I'm
I've
glad
said
you
with
brought this
Pheno,
up about changing your style
uh-huh,
because you know how they all of a sudden Pippen is the Lord Savior. But if you
uh-huh,
really study the dynamic between him and Jordan and the Bulls, Jordan, when he started really focusing on playing more off the ball, well, he became even more of a threat. But
yep,
that allowed Scotty to he could facilitate the offense, but that established his own offensive production within that triangle.
facts.
But as Jordan used to always say, I am the what do you say? I'm the free safety. Something to that effect. Like I plug in all the holes when we
Plugging
need
on the
that
hole, passing lanes,
30
yep,
contribution to get us over the hump. So in all
uh-huh,
actuality, by Jordan taking on more of a supportive role in terms of allowing Sky to facilitate, that made Jordan more dangerous, and that allowed Pippen to contribute more
contribute more.
offensively within the system. But when the
Uh-huh,
system broke down, when it was money time, they knew who to give the
money.
ball to.
Yo,
So
Jay,
yeah,
we got to get money time. We got to patent this, bro. When you say it's money time, bro, yo, that's your catchphrase. When it's money time,
it was
and
money
that's
time.
what a lot of cats need to understand. Money time is winning time. Money time is money time.
It was money
Money
time.
time yeah, man. They don't get it. This is why I hate to have these debates. This Mike without Pippen, this Scotty without, this Shaq without Kobe, this Kareem without Will. Y'all not understanding who is the man during money
The
time.
money
Say it
time.
again. Yo,
That's
JB,
when it counts.
oh, say it again. Just say it. Just say it.
Oh, money time. That's when it counts. And that's why
Yeah,
it showed when really, in all actuality, Pippen was he was an extension of Michael Jordan. That's what
bruh.
Scottie Pippen in essence was. He was an
Yes.
extension of Michael Jordan.
Here's
But
my
Michael
take.
Jordan said, I'm
Here's
going
my
to play
take.
off ball more and allow Scottie to facilitate. Yep.
Here's my
So,
take. Here's my take.
mhm.
And it's like, this is not to knock Scotty. Not to knock Scotty, because I want it known how great Scotty was. Well, Scotty was great inside the triangle system.
Yep.
He hasn't make an all-star team without Phil. And how many years he played without Phil? You got 1, 2. So the first 2 years where they lost to Detroit, he had Doug Collins as coach. Now Phil leaves, obviously, after the last dance. You got 99, the lockout season. Again, okay, there was no all-star team because of the lockout. There was no all-star game held that year. They just got through the 50 and went to the playoffs. But as we know, Scotty would not have been an all-star in 99, right? I think we can assume that.
Yep.
Look at the numbers.
Yep.
2000 or 1 or 2. Okay, you want to say that Scotty had a bad back, diminished back. But again, Scotty had a lot of years. Scotty was an all-star the first year under Phil, right? So that's his 3rd year. He didn't make it in 91. He probably should have, right? But again, all of his all-star years were with Phil Jackson in the triangle offense. Outside of the triangle offense, he doesn't even have close to an all-star season. Again, that's not to not. I mean, I'm not even going to say that Scotty is a role player, because that's not fair either. But Scotty is not an all-time great without the triangle system.
But the triangle,
I think we know that.
and if you look at it, if you look at the three-peats, like the 3rd year of each three-peat, Scottie Pippen's averages went down.
Yeah.
Like 93, his scoring average went down and his assist totals went down.
Yes.
And in 98, it was the same deal. So as teams got more comparable to the Bulls in terms of player for player matchups, what carried them through was number 23. So that's why I say when they try to, it's really sad that you have to go back. But that's why I say when you call it for what it is, you see who's who. And when it came to money time, who did they give the ball to?
Bro,
Game.
your money time quotes got to go viral, man, bro, for real. Because the way you say it, it's money time, because
It's
people
money
don't
time.
understand. People don't. I think people don't get it. They try to oversimplify it, right? Money time is clutch time. Money time is separate the men from the boys.
Well, here
Again,
go right here, bro. Here go another example. when Denver and the Lakers matched up in the Western Conference Finals. But see, now, if you go by what the talking heads were saying, you know, oh man, Lakers got AD and LeBron, which they did. But Denver had the Joker, and they had a healthy Jamal Murray.
Woo! Money boy, was he money time?
And they was real money time. And
Hey,
in the fourth quarter, Denver's best two players outplayed the Lakers' best two players.
By
that
far.
was the difference in the series.
By far. By far. And again, remember, we had our conversations about Denver, right? Obviously, Jamal Murray got hurt the year after the bubble. We know that was the conference finals, right? Denver wasn't even supposed to get to that conference finals. They were the ones that knocked off the Clippers, right?
They beat the Clippers.
But I remember saying Denver when they had Denver, right? Number one, the Lakers had a stacked front line. Remember the stacked front line in the second round. Remember, Mike D'Antoni was going an absurd level of small ball because he had PJ Tucker at 6'5" playing center against a team where LeBron James is 6'9" playing point guard. Are you kidding me? Russell Westbrook had to rebound like a power forward for Houston to even stand a chance. And remember, the tallest guy in their starting lineup was Robert Covington. I don't think D'Antoni really played a big man in there. And the Lakers just went over the top on them boys. You understand what I'm saying? Russell Westbrook and Harden,
that was ridiculous.
They were tiny. That was a second round matchup. So now Denver in the conference finals, what did I say Denver was lacking? They were lacking a slasher. Now, one of my favorite low key players was Will Barton. Now, I'm not saying Will Barton would have changed that series at all, but Will Barton was their version of a slashing type of player. You know, he was smooth, but he wasn't that athletic. You know, Will Barton been out the league for a minute now, right? But Bill Barton opted out of the bubble, so he ain't come. I know that Bradley Beal opted out of the bubble, so Lakers lost a key defender as well. But yeah, man, that bubble, like, you know, what's the name? Said Montrezl Harrell was another guy that Carsino was talking about. Like he had lost his mama-in-law or something like that. Somebody close to his family. He was never really into the bubble. Like, you know, you talking about a guy that, you know, people were losing their family members, and like you go into the bubble, you got no contact with the outs. You know, I mean, you can't really see people. You know, I don't know all the particulars. I thought they were allowed to bring some people were allowed to bring immediate family and stuff like that. But other than that, it was like if once you go out, that's it. If you go out, you opted out. Like, you know what I mean? There were a few players that opted out. I don't know, but I do remember there was a couple of players that opted out. They came in the bubble and said, nah, I can't do this, right? You know, and you know, so it what, and I will say this again. Oh, Jesus Christ! I didn't want to talk about the bubble. I said we weren't going to talk about the bubble, but what I'm really doing is talking about Denver, because as I said, Denver's one issue is they needed an athletic player who could get lobs and stuff like that from the two playmakers that are Jamal Murray and what's the name. So now when they traded for Aaron Gordon that year, what did I say?
Are they ready?
That gives them what they need. They had the perimeter defenders and Bruce Brown, who I remember Bruce Brown from the Nets the year before. He was a find and a revelation. And KCP, who again, bubble championship, but he was one of the key defenders on that perimeter defense for the Lakers. So they had the Joker, they had the two shot makers, and all they needed was that athletic, go over the top. And a guy like Aaron Gordon, who, if you remember, Orlando was low-key built around for a couple of years.
Yeah.
You know, so they get him, put him next to Michael Porter Jr. That was the last step they needed. Right, and they ran, I mean, again, they outperformed the Lakers in those fourth quarter in money time. That's what happened. And again,
in the fourth quarters, man, where the games was, relatively, close. You know how in Rocky 4, when Club Lane got in the ring with Drago for the exhibition fight, he was throwing them jabs and Drago kind of just shaking and baking. He wasn't
Oh,
saying
you
nothing.
talking about
And that
Rocky
trader
IV with
said,
Apollo?
Excelsior. And then he opened up on him. Well, that's what Denver did. Michael Long said, Excelsior. And they went to work.
Got you. And yeah, when you perform, this is my thing. Money time. When you perform, so this is what I want people to understand. And I'm not trying to say like LeBron never been money in the fourth quarter. But bro, if you're going to, I don't care how many stats you show me. If you think that LeBron James is a better fourth quarter player than Kobe Bryant, you out your fucking mind. Remember, in the Scap Attack and a lot of people, Kobe set all-time records for most points in the fourth quarter during the first run that y'all don't want to give him any credit for. Kobe Bryant was setting all-time fourth quarter scoring records. As we remember, where they won the championship effectively, because I don't want to shit on the Pacers. The Pacers were a good team. The Pacers, give all things considered, could have beaten the Lakers, but it was an uphill battle. But where they won the championship was against Portland. And who was the man in money time in Portland, Mr. JB, back in 2000?
Mr. Kobe Bean in Game 7.
And how old was Kobe? Hold on. Let's go further. How old was Kobe in 2000?
Kobe was the grand age of what, 22?
21. His birthday wouldn't be to August.
Okay, so we'll say to you 21. Yeah,
he was 21.
Yeah, he was
21. So when y'all use that simplistic, he just rode Shaq's coattails to a chip. Come on, man. Again, I'm not acting like money time is the end all be, but again, Kobe Bryant remember, Jalen Brunson just broke a record, I think, for the first 10 games of fourth quarter scoring for the first 10 games of a playoff run. Kobe Bean Bryant set that record back in 2000 and 2001. And I think 2002. I think those years, all three of those years, his fourth quarter scoring in the playoffs were outstanding. And again, let me tell you this, because I did the Shaq versus Magic debate. Part of the reason why Shaq got swept 5 times in the 90s, remember, Shaq got swept 5 of his first 7 years. Shout out to Woodage for pointing that out, because I damn sure used that in the debate against T Perfect, right? Shout out to Woodage, man. I'm giving, I don't know the last time but Kobe was the young bull. Kobe did something that Eddie Jones, Nick Van Exel, and Penny Hardaway couldn't do. Give Shaq, with his weakness of not being able to be counted on in fourth quarter of tight games. We was talking about how good that, mind you, Scottie Pippen was on that Blazers team in 2000. We were talking about how how Sabonis was playing. So, but the combination of Sabonis and what's the name? And I remember Game 6, the controversy of Sabonis fouling out. Oh no, Sabonis fouled out in Game 7, and that was a big controversy, right? Again, Shaq was on the floor to help bring the team home. But again, the money time player was Kobe Bryant. Remember, they had 13-point lead going into that fourth quarter. You know what I'm saying? Shaq never wanted until Kobe became that guy. And they want to sit there and act like
history shows it. And even during, like, if anybody go to YouTube and pull up Lakers 2000 championship video, midway through or doing it when they covered the actual finals versus Indiana, Jim Clemens said Kobe Bryant was the most important player on the team that year. Even doing their first championship run, he said Kobe was the most important player on the team, not Shaq. So that's the assistant coach saying that.
Hey, Fry, I don't think Zebo was on that team. I don't think Zebo was in the league until hold on. When did Zebo get drafted? No, he got drafted in '99, right? Zach Randolph.
Randolph?
I think Randolph. Yeah. Hold on, let me just make sure. I don't want to say something because that's an important point. Zebo was on that team, but Steve Smith was on that team. Bonzie Wells, that team was stacked.
And Bonzie Wells Bonzie Wells he was the truth. He was kind of like a Paul Pierce type player.
Oh yeah, so when we started to do this, and I know that Big Naj and Hawk gonna have a debate, and I don't know if they watching or not. I mean, hopefully y'all are, but I know y'all busy. Let me see. Now, Zach Randolph wasn't on it yet. When did Randolph come into the league? I think he was in the 99. Oh no, Randolph wouldn't come in the league until 2001. So yeah, Randolph wasn't even in the league yet, but he was drafted. So yeah, those late Portland teams. Let me see. When did they bring
Jermaine O'Neal was on that team.
Jermaine O'Neal, yes.
Yeah.
Bro, that team was stacked.
Gary Grant was on that team. Brian Grant was on that team.
Yeah, you got Scotty was still on the team when Zebo was a rookie. Well, this is actually Zebo's first season as a starter. That team had Dale Davis, Rasheed Wallace, Derek Anderson, Bonzie Wells, David Stoudemire, Ruben Patterson, Jeff McGinnis, Zach Randolph was coming his own. Vetus was still hanging around. He was 38 years old, going on 39. Antonio Daniels, damn, Chris Dudley was like at the end of his run. But yeah, them Blazers teams were crazy, bro. Them Blazers teams were crazy. And again, this is what Kobe
teams in the NBA, bro.
Yeah, bro. The West was starting to. The West. This is when the West was just stacking all the talent, man. You know, again, the Celtics got. The Lakers swept them. Yeah, again, let me look at the series stats when the Lakers. You talk about a deep ass team, bro. You talking about a deep ass team. So as a rookie, Zebo did not play in the Lakers series. Dale Davis started. I believe Dale Davis started at center. Yeah, I don't see Zebo. I don't see not Zebo. Was Zebo?
Smith.
Well, the 2002 team didn't have Smith. I think they had Bonzie Wells. Sean Kemp. Yeah, Sean Kemp was on that. Steve Kerr managed to find his way on that team. Ruben Patterson, Stoudemire,
Kobe stop.
Scotty was actually, well, look, damn, Scotty actually had a nice series against the Lakers. 16-9-6. So Scotty still had some bullets in the chamber, bro. He still had some bullets in the chamber. 33 minutes. If I'm looking at the stats, yeah, he shot 55% from three in that series against the Lakers. But the Lakers swept them. And who was the alpha? Well, Scotty averaged 26. Kobe averaged 26-5, 6-5. Shaq 26. I mean, again, man, you talking about battles against really good teams back in these days. So, I mean, bro, there's so many conversations and I think a lot of people they're shitting on early 2000s basketball when they make the stupid simplistic take that Kobe and because again this goes into the main topic. You guys don't know how to judge teams, man. Y'all don't understand team dynamics.
Rod Strickland, Derek Anderson. Yep.
Yeah, man.
Portland
was putting a lot, and again, they will win 50 games and still run into the dominant Lakers or run into a dominant team, and that's how stacked the West was. Again, it was like they cannibalized each other. But the Lakers got a dominant run of three straight finals, 3 straight chips out of that stacked West. You're going to oversimplify by calling Kobe a sidekick? Hell no, because y'all butthurt that Scotty was a sidekick to Michael Jordan. I hate to think of it because that's an oversimplistic way of thinking it too. Because it wasn't about him being a sidekick. Because Scotty's role was very important to the the Bulls.
Here, the flu game with Jordan. When he got off the team bus, I remember doing the pre. I said, what's up with Jordan, man? Look like he had lost 10 pounds. He had no business playing. Scottie Pippen had a perfect chance right there to show, okay, I can get it done. He had 17 points that game. Jordan literally put the whole. Even during the post game interview, Scotty said, "Yeah, Jordan, he was our leader, and he put this team on his back tonight, and I should have played better than what I did."
Yeah.
When it was money time, I'm talking about money time. Like
money time. Yeah.
Where Utah could win up 3-2 versus the Bulls going up 3-2.
They would have been playing for their lives through games. Yep. Again
really had no business playing in that game.
And again, against a really good Jazz team. Don't look. When the Jazz scored 54 points, when the Bulls beat them 98-54, the Jazz were the number one offense in the league. This is the same Jazz team that swept Shaq, the 4 All-Stars, right? That was the number one offensive team rating-wise in the league. Y'all oversimplify by saying, "Oh, you only had Malone was the only scorer on that team." No, the Utah could throw about 6-7 guys that can score double digits at you. any night. Like a lot of these guys could go for 20. Again, the way their offenses went, it was a lot built on a lot of pick and roll, and they did not need a dominant second scorer. They did not need nobody. They did not need more than because they played that pick and roll to a great. So again, that team was a great offensive team, and guess what? They had an off night, and the Bulls showed you what they were defensively that night. And again, that was a 98-54 win. But again, they were that close to knocking the Bulls down 3-2 in the flu game. You understand what I'm saying? And then game 6, they closed it out. Those games are what make Mike a legend. Again, it's not to knock Scotty, but this is one of them things.
They made a Gatorade commercial after that game, and Phil Jackson said he made me a believer.
Yeah.
I mean, it's as simple as that.
It really is. Because again, if you needed to game plan for Scotty to get 30, if Scotty gave you 30 as a bonus, but Scotty did not have that 30-point a night game. That's why he only has 6 30-point games in his 216 playoff games. I watched enough Scotty to know. You know, there were nights where they knew Jordan would have needed Scotty. Many nights where it would have just we get up out of here, we get this game over, and Scotty can get 30. But it's not. You're never gonna game plan to get Scotty that many shots because again, Scotty was more. He's not to draw up a play for you. He's more of the facilitator on the offense. And you know what I'm saying?
That's why I feel made that call for Kukoc in that game 3 versus the Knicks, because he knew what was up. Because if they'd have lost that game, they
down 3-0.
Went down 3-0. That'd have been it.
Thank you. So, you know, again, Scotty did get to a conference finals without Mike with those. What's the name of it again? Go back to that fourth quarter where it's money time. Scotty wasn't money time. Scotty did play great defense on Kobe, but again, Kobe shined in money time in the game 6 and 7s.
Yep.
He just did. So again, it's shout out to Scap Attack, shout out to everybody. And again, I'm a guy that hate Kobe. I'm the guy that wanted. I love Sheed. I love that Sheed and Stoudemire, and I would have been happy to see Scotty get his 7. I'd have been happy, to be honest. Let me ask you this: do you think that would have been a knock on Jordan if Scotty in a more diminished leadership, but not physical leader, like he wasn't the leading scorer? They didn't need him to be the leading scorer. They needed him to be the Scotty facilitator, and that team was a balanced score. Again,
it was there.
Look at the Blazers. Yeah, the Blazers. That Blazers team. Shit, I might have to do a debate. in that concept. If I pick the Blazers of 2000 and I put that team against another team, and I'm trying to conceptualize, because that Blazers team was knocking on the door. It would have been an entertaining final. But again, you're talking about Kobe Bean Bryant at 21 years old. I want people to understand that because we glazed LeBron for supposedly taking nobodies to the finals at 22 when that's not true. That's not true. See, what they want to say is there wasn't a consistent second scorer. Therefore, he took nobody. So why don't we say that with the 98 and 97 Jazz? Right? Why don't we say that about 90? Because there wasn't a consistent second scorer on that team either. John Stockton is the Hall of Famer, but he ain't a second scorer. Is it because LeBron is the main scorer and facilitator? As I would say, what got them to, and mind you, I can guarantee you that the Jazz in 97 and 98 got to the finals off of way better competition than LeBron James did in 2007.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Helly because he's bringing up the player of the decade, right? Yeah. That's another thing. Again, because Kobe ain't here. And you know what kills me? Kobe would play this the same way Mike does. If Kobe was here, if Kobe was still walking this planet, Kobe wouldn't even give these fucking nerds the time of day to argue his case. But the thing is Kobe might, I don't know how he would be playing the social media game. I don't think he was ever about that either, right? Anybody remember following Kobe on Twitter? I don't think Kobe played that. When Kobe hanged it up, he was about his family and his daughters, man.
That's pretty much it.
Shout out, he got 4 years to be at home. 3.5 to 4 years to be at home to coach up his daughters, man. But you know this, Jordan don't reply to these dumbass niggas. Has Jordan said anything about KD?
Oh man,
These brothers were too classy, bruh. Kobe, bro. I mean, I don't know. Kobe might have put out a emoji or something. I don't know. I don't think Kobe is an old school cat. I don't think Kobe would have played this game. But I know one thing: these zesty motherfuckers would not have the balls to say shit to Kobe's face if he was alive. I'm gonna just say that because just his presence, man. Yes, you're right, Kobe. That's what I wanted to say too. Kobe wasn't about personal stats. LeBron is. Let's keep it a stack, man. The man say, check my stats, bro. The man is stat obsessed. Kobe was winning obsessed. Mike was winning obsessed. What are we going to say here? What do we say here? LeBron wants to win. Kobe and Mike needed to win. They didn't rest unless they were winning. They could accept losing if they lost. They weren't going to crash out, but they were going to do what was necessary. LeBron, well, if he loses, instead of getting the guys this with him to get better, individually better, he gonna crack. Now I know. Oh, well, what are you talking about? Kobe got Swish Parker and Grimes. No, come on, man.
Here go, bro. Remember, here go the dip. I always say the dip between them three players. Jordan, you already beat. Going in, you already beat. You just got to play yourself out. He gonna show you why he the greatest. Kobe gonna find a way to beat you.
Yep.
And the other guy, more often than not, he gonna wind up losing in the end.
Yep.
Now remember when Jordan lost to Orlando in '95, he congratulated Nick Anderson. Dennis Scott. He hugged him, gave him his dap. Man, when Jordan walked up there, he had a look on his face. Man, he looked like stone. Like wait a minute. Like it was a shock, but he didn't make no excuses.
Ain't no excuse.
They said the next day, his trainer, Tim Grover said, I'll be ready to work out starting tomorrow. He was already getting ready for the next year.
Yep.
That's what Kobe got it. He loses to the Spurs. Jim Gray interviewing Kobe crying and shit. Derek Fisher crying. Kobe said next season starts right now. He said we can make excuses all day long. The fact is we're not going to make it. You know what I'm saying? Yep. Then the other guy say, well, it's just basketball.
It's just basketball.
I mean, it is what it is.
It's just basketball. Like I said, I wanted to make a status at Go Jays Kingdom Facebook group. You should join that group too, bro. But I want to make a status, one thing I know for certain, Michael Jordan probably has not watched 1 minute of Mind the Game podcast. Michael Jordan probably hasn't watched 1 minute of Mind the Game podcast. If you know that Kevin Durant took that shot, it's because somebody told him, man. Mike probably did not give a fuck. I guarantee you LeBron James watched every minute of the Last Dance documentary.
Well, I'm pretty sure he did.
Every fucking minute, probably 3 times.
And it was crazy, Ro, when there was no sports to talk about, no live sports, that Bulls documentary, they moved it up. They were supposed to debut that during the summer months, but because of the COVID, they debuted 2 months earlier. That Bulls documentary saved all these sports networks. Saved it. They finna fold.
Sure did. Gave them content. You know what I mean? I mean, look, they wanted to keep that in the vault, maybe put it up. Look. I learned what I knew about the joint when he was still playing with Come Fly With Me. Again, remember Come Fly With Me? Again, great documentary. While Jordan was in the middle of his run.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But everybody, he had to do it. It wasn't even about LeBron, bro. It wasn't about LeBron. It wasn't about that goddamn. Well, mind you, maybe that's why
they're gonna try to convince you that it was about LBJ, but this man is 6-0. He spied the league 2 championships when he go play another sport. But they're gonna say he made that because of LBJ.
Can't make it up.
Oh man,
can't make it up. Some of the conversations I have in there, people think they be cooking me, right? When they bring up the Scottie Pippen led in 4 categories outside of scoring, right? These are stupid conversations that lack nuance. You know, and Rayman FYF probably went on to do something, but you know, FYF is Rayman. For him to say that Bleacher Report didn't use the analytics, 175 motherfuckers, you gonna tell me 175 motherfuckers, not one of them looked at the analytics? Come on, Lamont. Again, they did not use only analytics. You study the Kevin Samuels debate tactics, right? I know you do. Then you know that language matters, words matter. You can't say that nobody used VORP and nobody used PER. Again, are you telling me your boy Lowe is capping? Lowe came on there and said, somebody said Kobe never led in PER. And he made a great point. You know, I'm reacting to what GoCast played, you know, on the video GoCast played. Kobe averaged 28. Yeah, FYF is Lamont, Philip Fry. Like I said, man, you know, they be bringing smoke to your brother. You know, they chat be roasting me as he mutes me all the time. I guess he busy tonight. That way he ain't, you know, he stopped by to look. But FYF, that's what I noticed about you, man. You like Rain Man because you can't have nuanced conversation. I can have. You think I be like ducking and dodging and taking a conversation. So that's why I come on here to have more nuanced conversations. You be wanting me to defend stupid nigga talking points, which I don't have stupid nigga talking points. Again, this idea that Scotty led everybody. Here's why we're explaining how the Bulls were built, right? Jordan could have easily averaged 8, but Jordan didn't need to average 8, 9, 10 rebounds. The same way LeBron's team don't need him to lead the team in rebound. You know what's so funny? They'll bring up LeBron leading both teams in every stat, right? In 2016, right? Which he did. But they won't tell you that pretty much because of Kevin Love's role change and the fact that he only played 30-something minutes a game, that Kevin Love averaged 8 and 6. Now every team with Kevin Love in his prime should be. I think he wasn't in the best shape, or he was kind of hurt too. But Kevin Love was pretty much kind of played out of that series. Kevin Love should have been the leading rebounder of the Cavs, but he only averaged 6. Now, Tristan Thompson, again, he's coming off the bench. He averaged a double-double. But LeBron averaging 11 rebounds. I guarantee you most of them were defensive rebounds. And playing the most minutes. Okay. I go to the series. I think it was an early one. I think it was against either the Pistons or against the Knicks. And Jordan led the team in all 5 statistical categories. Well, wait a minute. But he didn't lead both teams. Oh, okay. If it was against the Knicks or if it was against the Pistons, you realize that Dennis Rodman's on the other team. So you asking Jordan to out-rebound Dennis Rodman or Patrick Ewing? Or I don't know if Charles Oakley was with the Bulls at the time. Yeah, Charles Oakley was with the Bulls Charles Oakley was with the Knicks because he wasn't with the Bulls, right? So this is the Bill Cartwright's first year. So this got to be 1989 or later. Whatever series that is, Michael Jordan led the Bulls in every statistical category. But then LeBron fans will cop back, oh, that don't count because he didn't lead both teams. As I said, LeBron played against the small ball playing Warriors, right? Oh, their center, it was either Bogut or Pachulia, didn't even. So the only competition on the other team he has is Draymond Green. And then the competition on his own team, his playing style pretty much obfuscated Kevin Love's role because Kevin Love should always be the leading. So you understand what I'm saying?
Bro, I'm so glad you brought this up because if you look at, let's say, his average in the 2013 finals versus San Antonio, a traditional base team, right? He averaged about 24.5 points a game in the series, right? Mm-hmm. He goes against Golden State, he started averaging up in the 30s. Well, it's because, man, if you really, what he didn't realize was they baited him. He played exactly how they wanted him to play. They let him drive to the basket, get them points. They closed out on the driving kick shooters.
Yes.
They closed that out. They shut that down. Whereas, like you said, they involved Kevin Love more. get him going in the paint. Well, they won't be able to defend like that.
Yes,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
And remember, Golden State is the team that run your big man off the floor. So they pretty much made love because again, you're hunting him in pick and rolls. You know, you're playing enough small ball where there's nobody for him to really guard. So because of that, and again, that's part of Love's own. But Tristan Thompson, again, he averaged a double-double. This the most overrated thing. And again, they were happy for LeBron. Again, money time. Kyrie was the man in money time. Let's keep it real. I will say LeBron did have some good defensive plays in crunch time in that series and stuff like that. But again, it's one of the most overrated things. But again, when you want to sit there and say Jordan never led both teams, first of all, are you expecting Jordan, a guard, to lead both teams? Are you expecting Kobe, a guard, to lead both teams against the teams he played? That was never going to happen. So it's such a stupid talking point because, again, LeBron, the way he is used, the way his teams are built around him, he's built to have the stats. That's the part that I really want y'all to understand. So when you're debating off of stats, it's really, you can't really, you know, as I said, as I promised, we bring in onion, we peeling the onion back. We getting into the quarter onion. Y'all be just having surface level conversation about these things. The way Kobe, and again, it's not to sit there and say that LeBron's versatility is not amazing. Again, FYF was talking about LeBron's versatility. And remember I told you on Monday before I hit the road, I was trying to explain to him that Magic was a more versatile player than LeBron, and Giannis, he ain't the only one. Giannis and Grant Hill, I think, were more versatile players than LeBron. They're not trying to hear it. Well, okay. Versatility, you know, again, you're telling me Magic got no defense. Okay. You want to bring it to defense. Again, I say Magic can guard 4s and 5s, 3 4s and 4s and 5s a little bit. Magic can guard both of your players better than LeBron can guard both of your players because that's not his strong suit. It really ain't. LeBron does not like physical contact on either side of the ball. So for him to tell me he guards centers, no, he doesn't. He doesn't. You know, yeah, FYF is full of LeBron fans. And when I go over there and say anything, they're going to tear me up. They're going to tear me up because he never going to let me land my plane. And like I said, over here, we have more nuanced conversations. Lamont proved by saying they didn't use, and they did not only use, we can all agree to that if it's 175 motherfuckers, that of course they didn't sit there and say, oh, you got to use. Everybody got different interpretations. That's why one guy got George Mikan at 10 on that in them voters, and one guy got him 80. So there's some old head sports writer that thinks George Mikan was the 10th best player that ever lived. God bless your heart. It's not true. You understand what I'm saying? Even if I just take error out of it, maybe Lamont is the guy that got LeBron 10. I mean, George Mikan 10. Maybe it's Lamont if he ain't a voter. I mean, what is it, Gilbert Arenas? Does Gilbert Arenas got one of them sports writers? Yeah, FYI was watching, not true. But bro, again, for you to sit there and say, nope, like they don't, somebody used that, somebody looked at VORP and all this other bullshit. But they did not use. There's no one, again, we all know there's not one criteria because you wouldn't have so many variations in how people voted. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, it's like, if y'all not understanding team dynamic and if y'all not understanding how those Laker teams, early 2000 Laker teams were built and how those late 2000 Laker teams were built, how the 2010, early 2000 team before Kobe got hurt, how they were built, they were different teams, different coaches. You know, once they thought that they was going to bring Phil back after they fired Mike Brown after the 1-4 start. Remember, they were 0-6 during the preseason, and they were looking bad. It was because the Princeton offense that Mike Brown was running, Steve Nash and what's the name, and Dwight Howard, the two new pickups, weren't picking it up, you know. And they would try, you know, they weren't running exactly the Princeton offense. They weren't running it with a slow pace the way Mike Fratello was running, but they were trying to run a different concept. And again, it didn't fit the roster, so they fired Mike Brown after the 1-4 start. Then they hired Mike D'Antoni. They thought, remember Phil was dating Jeannie at the time. Phil was boning Jeannie at the time. Remember that?
Yeah.
And so Jim was in fraud, and they're like, I ain't hiring a guy that boning my sister. Oh my God, bro. Oh my God, man. Kobe Bryant was, player of the decade in 2010. Now he's not a top 10 player. Again, I mean, bro, y'all can go all night on that. But again, I would say this because people don't understand the way these team dynamics went. I can look back at certain teams. I thought one of the perfect teams, another one of my favorite teams that never won it all was the 02 Kings. The 02 Kings, that was the 1 year that team got everybody healthy enough. Stojakovic was in his best year. I think that was really the best we saw. Weber, Bibby, Christie. You know what I'm saying? Divac was still balling. That team was tough. The competition was tough. And again, if you understand, if you go back and watch, if you go back and remember how those teams were built and conceptualized, you would understand there's a lot more nuance. Again, and you could just be all day trying to analyze where these players were. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, look, shout out to Hakeem Olajuwon. Divac was a little similar. Again, a great passing big man. He was maybe not as fluid and smooth, but Divac did have a lot of jokers. Again, Arvydas Sabonis, we was talking about on Carsino, just how good Arvydas Sabonis was when he was in Russia, when he was in the USSR. Remember, he was a member, like Lithuania, where he's from, was one of the countries in the USSR. So again, we had a whole Cold War going on. For him to get to the league, they had to do a lot of things. He would have had to defect like the baseball players, and it wasn't that easy to defect. You know what I'm saying? And again, there was a pride in playing for your country. You come to the NBA, you can't play for your country. That's why a lot of these Europeans didn't come over. Playing for your country over there meant something, and especially when they're giving you considerable money. Because you remember in the 80s, people ain't making millions of dollars yet. Every player wasn't making millions of dollars yet. This is something they don't get. Yo, Sabonis, yes, old fat potbelly, slow Philip Fry. Fat potbelly Sabonis was giving Shaq problems. Young, even still with a little bit of speed left injured, Sabonis was giving David Robinson problems. And in the 88 Olympics, he was killing Robinson. Remember, Robinson had already graduated from the Naval Academy, right? They let him go play for Team USA. And he was giving Robinson problems. Injured. Remember, Jokic tore his ACL and didn't get surgery. Was letting it heal naturally. Yo, I want y'all to understand that, man. Yo, think of Jokic 4 inches taller and more athletic. That's Arvydas Sabonis, bro. That's the young Arvydas Sabonis. I'm gonna tell you, I've seen enough film to understand that. They did a documentary on it. The Arvydas, y'all, people, go check that out. Go look for Arvydas Sabonis and look at his It's like a little documentary or a little highlight package, something they did to explain to you how good Arvydas Sabonis was, man. So again, there's nuances to these things, and again, it's because people don't understand. Like, this is why they don't think the '90s teams were any good, because you don't see a bunch of Hall of Famers stacked up on one team. Well, think about this.
See, that's the thing. It produces the opposite effect. Like, what was great about, because the '90s get shafted these days, but what was great about that with that decade of basketball was it was truly contingent on the superstar performance, how far the team was going to go. It was always contingent on the superstar and the primary superstar. And what happened during the super team era, it appears that when you have so many superstars joining forces, that it means that team is better than champions of the past. But all actuality, competition is devalued in that process. It's not elevated.
Shout out to Akeem Olajuwon. I'm hoping that is the Akeem Olajuwon. with your blue check mark. But yeah, the 96 Sonics were one of the greatest defensive teams you ever seen. They pick you up full court, bro. They was averaging 15, 16 steals a game. They were turning teams over they were turning teams over at a crazy rate, man. They had a lot of steals. That's what I remember. They played a good full court press type. You know what I mean? They would pick either 3/4 court, half court press. I remember because I would pick when Live 95, I would employ that defense. They could smother you, man. They had that crazy good ball pressure. The Sonics team, man. Again, y'all go back and look at these teams because this is a point I want to make before you started going. Okay, a team with 3 Hall of Famers, eventual guys to get to the Hall of Fame. Remember Run TMC? They only played together for 2 years. But how many 3 Hall of Famers on the same team? How much did Run TMC do? What did they do? They got knocked out in the second round and the first round, right?
Yeah.
They didn't get that far. It's not about and they wound up trading Billy Owens because Billy Owens was a big deal coming out of Syracuse. Yeah, they wound up trading Billy Owens, and that's how Mitch Richmond wound up in Sacramento for the balance of his career. Because, and unfortunately, Sacramento wasn't a great franchise. Sacramento, I'm not going to try to take their team, but Sacramento having a team is a little, again, they're another one of them small markets. They don't generate a lot of revenue. You know what I'm saying? But, again, and they haven't had the most competent management. Again, they fired Mike Brown this year. They got one little fork in the road, and they fired Mike Brown. To me, I made the point. If you look at Minnesota was 13 and 15 at the same time that they fired Mike Brown. Minnesota stuck with their coach, their concept, and made it to the conference finals. I think they jumped the gun, and especially if you were going to trade Fox anyway. So their problem, Sacramento's problem is their roster. But again, and you notice they traded for D-Row and Zach LaVine, right? 2 great scorers. You would think they would have got better, right? No, they didn't. See, just putting a bunch of good scorers on a team is not how you build teams. There's only one basketball. At this point in his career, DeRozan he's meant to play a backseat role. And LaVine, who's still relatively young, he has been in the league 11 years now, but he's relatively still, 30? Well, make him about 30, 31. But he's never been a winning type of player. He plays no defense. So between that and Domantas Sabonis, who again is a good player, but defensively as a center, the concept is not. Again, people don't conceptualize. I conceptualize teams. When I evaluate teams, do I ask you, do you have all you need? So when I do the season preview, I guarantee more of my predictions will be right than it will be wrong. I guarantee you. Because I'm not trying to act like my take is better than everybody, but if I see you looking at teams and all you think about is the top 2 scorers, you're not judging the team correctly. Because I judge teams by what they need. I said, me and you both said, we both agreed that when the Nuggets in 2023 traded for Aaron Gordon, that was a key. That was the last piece they needed to get over the hump and be a championship team. Yep. And that was what they didn't have. That's why when everybody was glazed, remember everybody was glazing in 2023? Oh, we got the same 4 teams that won in the bubble. They've got made the Final Four, right? I was like, yeah, but it's going to be a whole different story. Mind you, no, it was only Laker fans. It wasn't Celtics fans. Remember, because hold on. It was Heat. It was the Heat. Who was the other team? Was it the Celtics? No. It was the Heat.
It was the Celtics, I think.
Yeah, the Heat, the Celtics, the Lake. Wasn't a Heat fan? Was a Celtics fan? It wasn't. None of them was justifying that, but the Laker fans. And I'm like, bro, those teams got most of their core still there. The Lakers got only 3 years later, only AD and LeBron remain in a whole different supporting cast, a whole different coach, and they would and trust me, and you ain't gonna see no repeat of the 2020 conference finals. And what happened? What happened, JB, in 2023?
Oh, well, we know what happened. Denver went to work.
They swept them. And I sat there and I asked. I remember asking in behind the bench, if the Lakers get swept, is this a successful season? You remember Robert Cross? Yeah, it's a successful season. If y'all get, somebody tell me, if y'all get swept, a team they got LeBron and AD in their relative prime, right? LeBron at the
D-Lo,
time,
number 3 score dropping 18.
D'Lo, yep. That saved the season. Him, Austin Reeves, and what's the name, and Anthony Davis saved the season while LeBron was taking a sabbatical after passing Kareem. Y'all remember that, right? LeBron took about 10 games off. Matter of fact, let me look and count. I'm gonna look at LeBron's what's the name. He took like 10 games off. I'm gonna tell you what the Lakers record in those 10 games were. You know what I'm saying? That saved the season right there. That they don't get to the conference finals. They don't even get to the playoffs. LeBron game log. So he passed Kareem in that OKC game, right? Okay. What he did was, so I misremembered a little bit. In the OKC game, he took 3 games off. He sat out think about this. He sat out against Milwaukee, Golden State, and Portland. Then he came back, he played against the Pelicans, Golden State, and Dallas. And then he was off for almost a month, from the 26th to the 26th. Yes, so he came back. March 26th, he came off the bench. Supposedly a groin injury or a foot injury or whatever, right? Remember he went to go see the LeBron James feet? Remember that?
Yep.
He was supposed to shut it down. So he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Hold on. Let me look at it. I remember it was the OKC game, right? February 7th against OKC. He had 38 points, but he passed Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in that OKC game. They lost. Remember, because they were down, right? So in the games without him, they went 1-2, right? But then they lost to Memphis. They were 1-1, 1-2, 4-2, 4-3, 5-2, 3, 5-5, and then they won the 3 straight games. So they were 8-5, but they were able to get back into contention. I think other teams were kind of falling off. They had beaten OKC without LeBron, and then he comes back, and they had that home and home against the Bulls, right? So the Bulls, they came back. They lost the first game. He came back against the Bulls, and then they won the second game. He came back. But by then, that 8-5 without LeBron, that's how they got back into the contention for the what's the name? And then they finished up with LeBron. I will give them credit. They finished up with LeBron 6-2 to hammer down the playoff spot, right? Yep. They still needed to play in because they were the 7th seed. And remember, if you remember in the playoffs, obviously Ja broke his hand.
43-39.
43-39, and then Ja Morant broke his hand in the Memphis series, and they won in 6. LeBron had some good representative numbers. Again, after the first, he took no shots in the first game, and they gave AD all the credit. So I'm like, oh no, that was Denver. But anyway, again, without LeBron for about 13 games, it was Austin Reeves and D'Lo and Anthony Davis that was able to hold on the fort. I wish I could look up real quick what their numbers in those games were. But overall, 13 games out of 16, LeBron didn't play. Pretty much a sabbatical. And they tried to make it he needed to go see the LeBron James of feet. Oh, man. That means if you're the LeBron James of feet, that means you only write 40% of the time, right?
Yep.
My bad. I bounced myself out right quick, but yeah, man. So again, things happen, man. again, they needed a good run without LeBron that year, and you know, again, sometimes a guy taking a step back. That's why I say this. LeBron has put a win in the like LeBron. No, first of all, no coach can really come in and put their system down, right? This is why a lot of the reason why they fired. You know, have you noticed that most of the coaches of the year of the past 5, 6, 7 years and championship coaches have been fired? Have you noticed that, right? I mean, really, between Popovich and, you know, obviously he officially retired because of health, but Spoelstra, who else? Think of, give me a coach that's entrenched anywhere. Nobody.
Outside of
That's it. Spoelstra and Popovich. Yeah. Those are all, and you see who Popovich ran his own show, and Riley runs the old school guys. Nobody, everybody else got these impatient owners and management because you got to switch up the team, you got to switch up the That's another reason why you're not going to have no repeat champion. Because in addition to the salary cap rules making it hard, nobody is putting, you know, there ain't no Bill Belichick's. You know, even football, they doing the same thing. Even baseball. If you ain't, well, Aaron Boone is entrenched because he loves analytics, and the Yankees are an analytic team. But these, you know, there's no. See, we ain't talking about the bubble, bro. We're not talking about the bubble. D-Lo. Yo, shout out to D-Lo. You know, JB up here today, man. If you want the link, I'll give you the link, man. You know, we need to chop it up. I don't know if you got time, but let me know. Matter of fact, I'll put the link in anyway, man. Anybody want to pull up, bro? Because I've been yapping a lot. And, you know, shout out to y'all for rocking with me, man. Like and subscribe, man. I'm telling you, man. I'm telling my own peoples to like and subscribe. And my mom and my brother, hopefully they watching me. You know what I mean? Hopefully they watching me on the big screen in the house. But I'm up on Mom Duke's porch doing the show, man. I could breathe. I'm outside the city, man. You know, it's crazy down here, man. But if y'all want to pull up, man, I don't know if anybody watching in GoCast podcast. Let me know if you want the link, and I'll pull up. I mean, I put it up there. But, you know, again, we're not talking about the bubble, bro. But what we are talking about is how teams were built. Again, Miami was built on the same system. The whole Lakers that year in 2023 were a whole different team. Mike Malone was still running and coach the team the way he ran it in 2020. The one thing is they was able to get the one player that they needed. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So, man, like I said, anybody want to pull up? Where JB dropped off? Yeah, I know. I swerved you, D-Lo. This we gotta do, bro. I'm learning from you, big bro. You the YouTube master, man. You got in the thousands of subs. I only got 90. JB back. You know what I'm saying? I'm learning how to drive. You know, like you see D-Lo, he going off the thumbnail. So as I said from the beginning of the stream, I ain't talking about that goddamn bubble. FYF pulling up to the stage. The honor, we are honored with your presence, Mr. Lamont. What's going on, man? How you doing? You kind of low. I don't know if you on your phone or your mic. Okay, maybe he'll pull back up. But D-Lo, man, come on, man, chop it up with the boys. It's been a minute, man. Been a minute since NBA enthusiast days, bro. We ain't gonna have a sit down. If you're busy, I understand, but you know. Yeah, man. Yeah, no. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, you know, like I said, I'm learning from you, man. Sometimes you gotta swerve them, man. You gotta make them think that we talking about one thing. We ain't talking about that bubble. Now, again, we are talking about teams based on how they were built back in 2020 and what they added and what was successful and all that. We talking about how teams are built, you know. But FYF is coming back up. What's going on, Lamont?
Yeah,
How you doing?
Oh, I'm straight.
So what do you got to say about the conversation that we're having?
No, I was just going to tell y'all the criteria that they used.
Okay, cool. We can do that.
So the email they sent me an email for Bleacher Report.
Okay.
And I'm gonna try to explain it and simplify it as much as possible because
there's 175 people that voted.
No,
right?
It's not the amount of people that voted. It's the system that they use. It's not hard to understand. So they basically it's called a 100-point rubric. And so the first thing they have on here is it says accolades. It says your accolades can get you a total of 35 points.
Okay.
Right? It says regular season MVPs equal 4 points. Finals MVPs 3 points. All NBA selections 1.5. All defensive selections 1.5. All-star selections 1 point. And then titles, things like Rookie of the Year, scoring titles, assist titles, steal titles, block titles. Those are all 2 points each.
Okay, stop there. Hold on.
Hold on. I gotta tell you the last sentence to make sense of it.
Okay.
It says in this category, it says you cap at 35 points to prevent accumulation runaway. So what happens is, what they've done is they've used point system to weigh them, I guess, to weigh what they feel are the most valuable accolades. But they're not going to reward you for
running away with
extreme longevity. Like, for example, people like Tim Duncan, somebody with a ton of all defensive teams. You can't crack the top 10 if you didn't play 20 years and you find you got 18 all defensive teams, something crazy like that.
Which is one thing that So right to that part is a math system, pretty much, because you just use the pure facts. Hold on. You just use the pure facts based on the accolades accumulated, right?
Yeah.
So that's 35%. Yeah. So that's just numbers, and it's again. But see, okay. You can go on.
So that like I say, so that whole entire category is not subjective. You can't debate it. It is what it is. Your point total is your point total. The second category was peak performance, and so the way that they measure peak performance with 4 different things. Top 3 MVP finishes, you get 2 points.
Okay.
Peak points per game, if it's over 25 points per game.
Okay.
And you get a 0.5. You get 0.5 points for each season like that.
So a lot of this is a lot of this is math as well, right? So you can explain the formula, but a lot of this is taking math into account.
It's just using your numbers and putting it into a number, so to see whose number gets higher. So it says peak field goal percentage bonus. It says field goal percentage divided by 0.50 times 5 points. Then it says peak 3-point field goal percentage bonus, 3-point percentage divided by 0.35 times 3 points. And I don't like I say, I'm not gonna say that. Like I see the math. I don't know why he broke the math down like that, but it says so that section right there also is just your raw numbers. And I think this is actually something I never thought to incorporate, because it also gives you, like, so for example, Kobe. People say that Kobe has a lot of years where he got shorted out the MVP. But in this section, it kind of neutralizes it, because now you can get rewarded for being close, getting into the top 3. So I do like that.
Let me give a comment, because I think his was problematic too. Number one, you're using numbers like 3-point percentage, and you're using stats that didn't exist in the 70s.
No, you're using your peak numbers and the
peak numbers. I get it.
So your peak numbers, you only get a bonus. So you don't have to have the 3-point field goal percentage. You get a bonus for it. And so again, the 3-point field goal percentage is a bonus. but it's really only going to be a superior bonus to anyone that shot over. It's only a bonus to anybody that shoots over 35% from the 3-point line. So it's not a bonus to you if you don't shoot over 35%.
Got it, but you didn't remember it is error bias because again, I'm gonna look at it. I'm gonna look at when I look at the all-time numbers, right, Lamont?
But you got to hear the rest of the criteria to see how it balances
I know, but I
everything out.
want to stop because I know I get it, but I want to just stop because I can conceptualize the whole thing. But what I'm saying is where the error bias is that, again, then these guys don't belong in the conversation. But when I sit there and look at the fact that Bashir Nakbar and Terry DeHare have a better 3-point percentage than Larry Bird, I understand that that's because of error. That Larry Bird played in a different 3-point shooting era. And that's one of the things that, okay, you're right. Larry Bird's peaked in that, but he is a 50, 40, 90 shooter, right? That gets taken into account. But again, the error bias is going to, you know what I'm saying? So it's not it's not a perfect system. But now you can keep going on. Keep going on. Let me explain the rest of it.
Okay, so that's just your peak performance.
Mm-hmm.
That's based on your raw numbers. The third category is your career statistics. It says points per game. It's points per game, rebounds, assists, steals, and blocks. And they scale it into a point system where your points per game. Your points per game can give you 5 points, rebounds 3 points, assists 3 points. The steals and blocks are combined together, and that gives you 2 points. And it says you can get your points, rebounds, assists, and steals. You can get a total of 15 points, but there's like a formula here that you have to use. It's your points per game divided by 30 times 5. It's your rebounds per game divided by 10 times 3. It's your assists per game divided by 8 times 3. And then it's your steals plus blocks.
God damn, this is now looking like a Big Bang Theory.
Okay, so what they're doing is they're just trying to correlate your stats into. No, because Lamont, I want you to understand, I'm doing my best to follow. And again, all right, just long story short, how much now percentage of these formulas? How much of the criteria? Like, what percentage are we up to now? Once we do accolades, the peak perform, and then then these stats. Like, what percentage are we up to now? Okay, so just to that's why I say I'm just gonna summarize it.
Yeah.
Number three is just your career statistics normalized. All right.
Okay.
So if we just go through the categories, you got accolades. That's what they hold in the highest pristine. That's where you can get the majority of the points. Peak performance is second. 3 is career statistics. That's where you can get the third most points. 4 is longevity and consistency. That's where you can get the most points. 5th is the only category where it's subjective, and you can get from 0 to 10 points. And it's impact and influence. And all 175 voters gave Kobe 10 points in this category. And so what he said was, and then the last category is defensive excellence. Defensive excellence, you get 1.5 points for your DPOY. You get 0.3 points for each all defensive team, and then you also get an additional 2 points if you are top 3 in defensive win shares in any particular season. So in that particular category, you can only cap out at 5 points. And so remember, each category has a cap where you can only hit a certain number. You can't go past it. So for defensive excellence, the max you can get is 5 points. Impact and influence, the max you can get is 10 points. That's the only category that's subjective, where you can just kind of use your personal feelings. Longevity and consistency, obviously that's an easier one because the longevity and consistency is about the season you played, and that can get you 15 points total. Career stats, peak performance, and then accolades. So again, with them putting accolades as the category that gets you the most points, regular season MVPs, Finals MVPs, All NBA, All Defensive Select, and then they weigh them with points. And then you obviously. So this is how they came. This is how they came up with what they had.
Okay. So now I just got a quick couple of questions. Because as I was trying to say in there, this sounds like, I don't know if you're a fan of the Big Bang Theory, right? Sheldon and they were all physicists.
It's not as complicated as it probably sounds. It's actually
but I know, I get that part. Again, I know.
Real simple.
But I'm gonna have two quick questions.
It's not that complicated.
No, I get it, but is you trying to follow it? Because in one question while you explaining it burns in my mind. Then how, if it's so much based on a math formula, how do you have such varied interpretations where, because they showed you where one guy would have the highest vote, like George Mikan, for example. That's the one that stuck out to me. One guy had George Mikan at 10, and one guy had George Mikan at 80.
That's what he has a star down here for. So, for example, there are places where you can be subjective with if the awards didn't exist. So, for example, you can, based on what you know about Bill Russell, if the award didn't exist, you can hypothetically ascertain what you think that player would have gotten and get and apply points. And so I think what happens is when you see where somebody gets varied, the ranking gets varied, is because maybe one person feels if you think about Bill Russell, maybe somebody thinks he should have got DPOY every year and all defensive every year, and you give them all those points and you rank them higher. And maybe some people who don't know about George Mikan or they don't really care about him, some people overinflate them, some people underinflate them with the categories that don't exist. So you typically are only seeing that wide variance with players who were around when certain accolades or awards didn't exist, or even statistical categories.
Here's
for Bill Russell, certain blocks and steals didn't exist for like Wilt Chamberlain and Bill Russell, so we have to ascertain the number for them.
That's what I'm saying. And that's what I'm saying. This is what I'm saying. Because True to King TV, this isn't Lamont's show, and I'm giving Lamont the respect. And I really appreciate you coming on here and explaining it. If you got this from a voter itself, and they explain to you in detail. But I'm trying to follow it step by step. I have an audience that's also, if the 7 guys, like I say, they're trying to follow it as well. I have to then stop it because I do have to understand, I do have to make the point that, yes, certain stats don't exist. Certain stats will be like, obviously, you have more three-point shooters in, the three-point shooting percentages have gone up. There's certain things like your steals and blocks that didn't exist but before 73, 74. Right?
You can't harp on like 3-pointers because they didn't give 3-point shots enough weight. Listen to what I'm saying. They didn't give 3-pointers enough weight alone to make that significance of a change. So just because it counts for some people, it's not going to give you enough of a boost to make you rank higher. It's just because you can only cap out in a category at so many points, and so it's not gonna give you that big of an impact unless you the only way it impacts you maybe a little bit more than others is if every single shot you took when you played NBA basketball was a 3-point shot and you had to shoot it at like some ridiculous clip. Like if you took 1,000,000 threes and you made 90% of them. Okay, yeah, but unless you do something weird like that, and then it's only going to give you so many points because you can cap out in points. So it's impossible for you to say that one particular metric is either undervalued or overvalued because they're all weighted.
Yeah, I got you. And again, you're telling me, but you're still telling me most of the formula is pure numbers, and you still have a wide variance. Again, I can't understand why.
But I told you why the variance exists.
I get it.
Look at the players where there's variance.
Okay, I still can't understand how Reggie Miller is 17 spots ahead of Carmelo Anthony. Again, then you're telling me. Reggie Miller was never top 3 in MVP voting. Again, I know that's just one part.
It's going to, because again, when you go down to MVPs and things of that nature, yeah, I get that. But with Reggie, where he's going to start to rank higher is It's probably going to come down to
That
let me
10,
look.
that 10, 15%?
Well, no, that's just one. I'm looking at all the categories. I mean,
No,
where
it's
did
a
they
bunch
put
of
Reggie?
categories, but if you're telling
Where
me
did where did they put Reggie?
they put Reggie at 44, they put Melo at 61. That's my
Now,
beat.
but so the reason why Reggie is probably gonna get up there with Carmelo is because when you look at under titles, let's see
Playoff
what he
series
has under
win?
titles.
You
No,
got
not
playoff series win?
win. No, I said titles. When you
Well, I'm just saying, because neither one has a title.
I'm
Reggie
talking
got the
about
one.
accolade. I'm talking about accolades like did you lead the league in 3-point field goal percentage or something? And they're considering that a title. So
Melo
I don't know
got
if
2
Reggie
scoring
did
titles.
that.
See what I'm saying? Hold up, Melo got 2 scoring
That's
titles.
2 scoring titles. That's only 4 points.
Okay, but I'm saying, what did Reggie lead the league in?
I'm trying to look. I'm trying to. I mean, all I can do is I'm just telling you the point system that they use.
Yeah, and I'm really trying to interpret.
I can email this to you, and in your own time, you can pull Reggie's entire career and do the calculations yourself. I'm just telling you that there was a mathematical criteria. There was only variance in players where certain things didn't exist, or for that category at the bottom, number 5, which was it 5 or 6? Cultural influence. If somebody feels that you weren't as impactful or as influential on the game, maybe they give you a 0 when you probably should have given a 10. Like, for example, with Kobe, you know, maybe one person thought, man, I don't feel like he had that much of an influence on the game, and we're gonna rank him lower.
You said most. You said all the most gave him 10. You said all the most of them gave him 10 on the influence.
He told me that most of them gave Kobe a 10 in that one. But if you see somebody that didn't give him a 10 in that one, and let's say, for example, the person that had him ranked 18th, if you give him a 0, well, he loses 10 points. That can drop you 8 spots if you lose 10 points. So, but that one person, there were so many voters that one person's scoring system is not gonna impact the work. Where Kobe fell on that list is the average of what most people felt. If you were just one of those anomalies and you said, "Oh, I don't think he had an impact," and you tried to rank him lower, it's not going to have as much of an impact when you have 175 voters. Kobe came out at around 11, where I feel like if you use the criteria, that's where he typically falls when you use set criteria.
See, and that's what I'm saying. Again, I'm gonna just overall comment it. It's flawed because as you know, you probably would agree, the game changed, the approach changed, right? Obviously, you know, the 3-point shot. Again, y'all could say that nobody could shoot it. No, they were great dead-eye shooters. They were great long ball, long range shooters. The approach, they remember. They was talking about on GoCast, right?
The 3-pointer didn't exist. If the 3-pointer didn't exist, then they can hypothetically give you a number to give you points there. So, for example, if you were a guy like Jerry West and they knew you shot deep shots, that now becomes a hypothetical category where you can come up with a number. So it's not a 0 for that person. It's not a 0 for that person because now you can hypothetically use your basketball brain to fill in the blank there.
Yeah,
so that they don't get a dub.
I get that part, but again, then you got the era where like you got a certain stat like.
Well, Kobe, there were no duds. We had all the numbers.
No, look again. Error has got to make because there were errors where there were big men that could shoot outside. They didn't allow big men to shoot outside unless you were really, really skilled at it. Again, it's not. There's really no perfect way. I just want to put that stamp on it. There's really no perfect way to do this because again, you got different approaches in different era. People got to understand that, right? Again, okay, now what about the ABA guys, right? How do you factor in the ABA guys? Like Dr.
You factor in their stats the same because the ABA and NBA merged their stats.
I get it. I get that part. But again,
so it doesn't change nothing. You have the stats. You have all the same stats to use.
See, I mean, okay, I guess, but it's just, I don't know. It's not a perfect way to do it. I get it. I followed it as best I can.
This is what he told me verbatim. He said, if you think about Kobe's career, he was like, The problem with the Kobe, is the things that you want to use to rank him higher. He says the problem is if you weigh those things higher, it's gonna give unnatural bumps to other players. So he was basically telling me about the all defensive teams. He said if we wanted to give all defensive team selections more of a weight, it's gonna give an unnatural bump to Scottie Pippen and even Bill Russell. And that's the problem. He said it's going to give unnatural bumps to other people who also have a whole bunch of those. So you can't just, because the problem with this thing is you can't not just weigh something because you want Kobe to get more credit for it.
No, and
you
I
have to
get
give
that.
everybody that same bump.
Again, I'm trying. That's what I'm saying. Anytime you do this, you try to be as unbiased as you can, right? But again, when you use the statistical, mathematical formulas and things like that, obviously, see again. You got to take a certain.
It's not a formula. It's not formulas.
I know. Okay. Whatever it is, it's just I still can't explain. If you're using a consistent thing, I don't understand the variance when one guy can go for like 20 on the list and the next guy can go 60 something on the other person's list. But again, you remember
who was 20th on one person's list and 60th on another?
I'm sure that if I go back and look, I'm sure that I'll see about why. Look, George Mikan's spread is 70.
George Mikan's spread is like that because you can make up a lot of hypothetical numbers because so much didn't exist when he played.
Okay, you realize how the top 25.
I just told you that.
Hold on, Lamont, you being a college level coach, right? You realize how the top 25. Okay, see, that's the problem with you, Lamont. I'm really trying to follow, and then I'm trying to make you realize how the top 25 in college, right, goes, right?
But you keep using George Mikan as the example as to why it's flawed. And I'm telling you why George Mikan's variance was there.
There were other players that I'm sure got at least a 30 ranking spread. I don't know, bro. I don't remember it. I know I've seen a few examples. I'm talking. You think you expect me to remember 100 people? I even said on this podcast, I gave it a look over. I really don't care that much, but I gave it a look over.
I got the list in front of me right now.
So look,
who has a spread that big,
bro? I'm not. If I pull it up, if I go and pull it up, I'm gonna knock myself out of the street. I'm not. I don't care enough to.
I'm looking at.
George Mikan got 70. That's the one that I remember the most. I got guys who were ranked in the 60th, and like guys that the back end of the top 50, 100. Some of them rank them as high as 60. Some of them don't have them ranked in the top 100. So that's at least a 30-something ranking variant. Who I'm guaranteed, bro. Look, come on, Lamont. We don't have to do this Rain Man type. I guarantee you, there's at least 5 people and they could qualify like that.
When I'm looking at this list, the players that typically have the most crazy variance are the players from way in the past, like Hal Greer, Dave Cowens has a crazy variance.
See, and that's what I'm saying.
Accolades and when certain stats didn't exist, and you have to hypothetically fill in the blanks. Also, one of the people who had the biggest variance is Paul Arizen. He has a huge variance, highest ranking 32 to unranked. And that's huge variance because of what didn't exist. But so that only applies to players that you don't even care about. You don't care about a Paul Arizen.
No, I do care about.
So why do we care about?
There you go. See, Lamont, you're doing what you normally do, bro. I'm the one.
Oh my God!
The last stream. Hold on, I know you were in the comments on the last stream, and I had to step in for Bill Russell when they were talking about Bill Russell. So don't tell me I don't care. That's being very, because I speak up for 60s and 50s players more than anybody on this channel, particularly.
So when you rank players, what do you do to give players of the 50s, 60s, and 70s their just credit?
I really look at the numbers. I try in my head to understand. I adjusted for error and adjusted for the fact that because what I want to do is I look at who were the best players in it and how long were they best in that particular era. So Paul Arizen, who was one of the top 5 players in the league for however many years in his era. Same thing with Will. Same thing with Bill. Again, they were sitting there, right, 11-0. Like I said, I bring in the stuff like 10-0 in game 7s and who he played against. I throw out the bullshit and the cap that Bill Russell was statistical thing that will ever really be fair to the whole. Look, I tried to follow it as much as possible, but again, I still can't understand these variants. And the point you just made is that the 60s and 70s guys, they got the highest variance. Now I'm trying to look up this Bleacher Report thing, top 100 list, so I can start naming names and see. But hold on, because I gotta see it. But I did notice there were a lot of people with 30 point, and you're telling me most of this is based on this statistical formula thing. And again,
the subjective categories is what can cause the widest variance, because in this list, 10 points can take you from the top 20 all the way down to 70s, 80s, or even unranked, depending on how close it is for everybody else. But 10 points is a huge number. So that the subjective category that's there. So for example, if you're looking at a guy like Chris Bosh, there are some voters who might be younger who feel like his impact with the Big Three in Miami was huge. There's other people that are going to say, no, that he didn't really have an impact on the game. I don't care what he did with the Big Three, and they might give him a 0. So even if you look to a Chris Bosh, you see that his variance stems from the subjective category, because it couldn't come from anything else. That 10 points can move you a ton of places. That's a lot. Yeah. Now, if you're just talking about 1 point here or there, and that 10 points is a cap of a category. And so now you have to get inside the minds of people, and that's where we say, if you put in too much subjectivity, you can start to see they just put in a little subjectivity, and we're starting to see variance.
Again, I'm gonna point out the problem, because, like I said, errors
and the subjectivity is the only thing that helped Kobe rank high. Like if we remove that subjectivity category, Kobe's lower. That's the problem.
Lamont,
that category helped Kobe,
bro.
So if you just based off accolades, stats, and numbers, Kobe ranks lower. That category helped and at least in this ranking, the way it's framed, that category helped Kobe. So if you remove that category, all these other players, they might go up, but Kobe then gets deemed.
Okay, what about Akeem?
And it still doesn't make sense.
Again, it doesn't make sense to me that Curry even
under the prison. Akeem is 12.
Again, it doesn't make sense.
I want to see how that doesn't make sense. Akeem is typically around 9 to 12 on any list anyway.
I know that's your thing. Look, and I'm low tech, and I'm trying to load this. And Artist Gilmore is the one person I got to go the other way. Okay, my bad. I'm bugging. Okay, so Dave Bing, another one. He's an old head, right? 69 to unranked. Klay Thompson, all right, he's a new guy. 72 to unranked. 28 spots.
That's not a ton of variance. That's not a ton of variance.
That's 28 spots. Okay, so I guess you need 30 for. Guess you need 30 for.
No. What I'm saying is.
Okay, hold on. Here's one.
Hold on. King Rope. You got to understand this entire point system. This point system is going to give.
I do. I promise you, I do.
Okay, I get that you understand it. Just hear me out. The point system is going to give everybody a number, but you have you have one entire category that is subjective, where a player can get 0 or 10 points. That can move you really high or take you really low, depending on how many points you average out amongst the voters. So all I'm saying is, again, it's going to come for all these players.
Hold on.
Especially when we look at them, we can tell that the subjectivity is what created the variance, because there is no other category that allows for you to move the numbers.
All right, because you just asked me a question, and you do it again. You do this on your.
Not asking you a question.
Hold on. You asked me a question. You asked. Hold on. Okay, Lamar. I'm trying not to. You asked me who. who has the high variance, right? You asked me who has a high variance, and now I'm about to list you. Now that I'm looking at the goddamn list,
I'm looking at the list.
So let me cook. Hold on. The first one with a high variance is Bernard King. Bernard King is rated as high. Let me go. He's rated as high as 53. He's ranked number 97. He's at the edge of the list. Now, Bernard King is ranked 53 as highest and unranked as lowest, right? Okay.
So that 53 represents one person of the 175.
So one of the 175 is going to really take the act. Come on, Lamont. Look. I promise you, I'm not as dumb as you think I am. I went to a specialized high school. I took the SAT without studying. I got a 1400. Okay.
Oh my God.
I'm just saying. Look. No. I promise you. Again, Bernard King. Now I'm gonna make the argument of subjectivity because there's one thing about Bernard King. Bernard King is one of the first players to get the ACL tear and come back at a all-star level. The same way that Dominique Wilkins is the first player to tear his Achilles and come back to an all-star level. So when it comes down to influence and style and subjectivity, a lot of players owe their careers not ending to Bernard King because, as you remember, right, he was one of the first guinea pigs that was able to reconstruct the knee, right? Am I wrong?
I have no idea, man.
You mean to tell me you don't know that Bernard King was the first player?
No, I don't know.
Okay, see what I'm saying? This is why I say, bro, you are like Rain Man. You can't understand the nuance of a conversation. Bro, like I said,
I understand what you're saying. I understand.
How do you not understand what I'm saying? First of all, you asked me for who? No,
I just said I understand what you're saying.
Okay,
I'm just saying I didn't know he tore his ACL. I don't.
You didn't know what happened to Bernard King, bro?
Oh my God!
In 1984, wait. In 1984, you didn't know he tore his knee out. That's why the Knicks got Patrick Ewing. That's why the Knicks got in the lottery to get a Patrick Ewing. You didn't know that? Okay. The bottom line is, anybody that tore the ACL and he tore it bad were considered done. For 3 seasons, he pretty much was a non-factor. He tried to come back, and by 1990, he was able to come back with the Washington Bullets, albeit on a bad team, and average 30 points a game. Bernard King is one of the reasons.
What does this have to do with him ranking higher?
Because again, first of all, then I'm going to call out anybody that says that he doesn't have. Because again, when you go back to those 80 players, they ask you who did we hate to guard? Who did we fear guarding? Who was we up all night because we had to go play the next night? They will tell you Bernard King. And again,
we all knew he was a great scorer.
Okay, he was a great scorer. He was a great player overall. He was a great player.
Yeah, we know that.
Okay, yes. But that's what I'm saying. When you start to ask me who, well, I'm gonna tell you the first guy at 97 with a variance of 40, with at least 47, is Bernard King. Now I'm gonna add another one. Let me see. I'm gonna find another one. Joe Dumars. Hold on, Lamont. You said who?
No, hold on. No, all we need is one player as an example. We don't need a 10. So
I'll give you one with a 62.
Hold on. When we go to Bernard King, just stay with Bernard King because Bernard King is the example.
Okay. I'm gonna just start naming names. I'm gonna start naming names. Joe Dumars is ranked highest 38. He's unranked on some people's lists. Again, the blue shirt, old head. Yeah.
Well, okay, so now we have to ask.
Dumars played into the 2000s. Did he not?
Okay, so
I'm just saying. I mean, I'll skip over old heads because Sharman 51 unranked.
What I want you to do is ask yourself this question. We understand that there's variance with some players, but now that we understand that the majority of their criteria are not subjective, you have to ask yourself when we go to the one subjective criteria, the one category that can take you into the top 50 or out of the top 50. Why is there variance with these players? And there's variance with these players because there's variance amongst the voters. So I'm just give you an example that you have with Bernard King. If I'm doing this, if I'm using that same system to rank Bernard King, and when I get down to that section with impact, well, if me and you are voters, when I get to Bernard King, his impact to me is not going to be as significant And as opposed to you might have lived through it. You might have been in the New York area, and it might have been more impactful. Hold on a second. Let me finish what I'm saying,
bro. I'm telling you, I follow you. Like you can keep going on soliloquies, but I follow you. I now am trying to make my audience understand this as well. That yes, you can have variance based on, but it's still based on an imperfect formula. Because again, I'm gonna go to another one. Draymond Green, 43 to unranked. Again, he's at the back end of the list, 43 to unranked. Again, somebody has Draymond Green at 43, and again, out of 175, then it's going to be a bunch of people that have him unranked that will keep for this variance, and that's why again it is a crazy but I'm also going to really then remark that the statistics themselves you just can't use it because you got different errors and all that. And I get they're trying to make it objective, but it's no objectivity here. It's not, and I get that part. I really do get that part, man. So, I mean, if you want to add to it, again, we got to have a back and forth discussion a little bit. Just a little bit, because I follow you, and I'm really trying to understand it as you explain it. And I'm trying to explain this to my audience, too. Because let's be real, I don't really care about the top 100 list that much. I have my own, and I try to be fair and objective myself. But again, I think there's parts that are not really, again, different approaches to the game is going to account for different statistical. Again, like in the 60s, these guys didn't play setup plays. It was a dead ball shooting era where 45% was like a good average. Big men shot 45% on the regular, 45th, guard shot in the 30s, and that was acceptable. Now you had guards shooting in the 30s percentile, but it's acceptable because they take more threes. So you can't really get a statistical approach that covers the 79 years of this league. That's what I'm trying to make you. I'm trying to just really explain, and I'm sure you understand that too. If I'm sure you understand it, right? Or you don't?
I guess.
Okay. No, again, as you know, points per game difference. In 1946,
King Roll. It can your stats don't inflate this because if we look at a player like Bill Russell, his stats in his era don't look typical of that of a all-time great player, but he still found his way to a really high ranking. It's because everything else balances it out. So as much as you want to act as if stats and all of this stuff are, the thing is they've era adjusted everything, especially once they put a cap on these things, because the cap kills the longevity, because we see the longevity in this era. So it's not going to allow somebody like LeBron or somebody that played 20 years to run. Also, even with the field goal percentage, when we go to peak performance, it's not punishing you for not meeting the peak field goal percentage as that of a Steph Curry. It's taking your peak season, and it's giving you credit for your peak season in that particular category. What is your peak field goal percentage? So it's not comparing your field goal percentage to Steph Curry's or Kobe's or Jordan's. It's taking your peak field goal percentage versus your peers in your era. And so when I see that they've made an attempt to era adjust everything, it's hard for me to just run around and say it's flawed, because I see an attempt for them to neutralize it and give everybody that picked up a basketball a fair chance.
So that's the part that I wanted to understand, right? Because again, if in certain era, field goal, the accepted or the standard field goal percentage was this, and because as you know, right, Jordan was a really, really efficient shooting guard in his era, right? He was a more efficient shooting guard in any era, but he was a really efficient shooting guard in his era. And again, you got to then talk about what are they using position? Or because are we comparing Kobe to a Duncan's field goal percentage? That's not fair. One is a power forward, one is a shooting guard, right? That's one quick key that I have. A shooting guard is typically going to have different field goal percentages than centers and power forwards, right? That's like a natural thing, right? So again, there's a bunch of other stats. I get it. I do get it. I'm really trying to understand the difference in again, the variances is kind of crazy because again, somebody got Draymond Green as a top 43 player, which I think on the surface is wild. And you're telling me really the guy that's a role player, pretty much one of the best role players of all time, but a guy that's a role player is ranked that high on certain lists and unranked on other lists. Well, then you're telling me, okay, him being a role player on what could be the last dynasty we see in our lifetime, well, maybe he likes it for that. And then, well, he's a role player. I'm not putting role players high on my list, and that could be the reason. I'm really trying to understand.
No, it's because the one category. It all goes down to the one category. When you see a Draymond Green who has the championships, when you see a Draymond Green who has a ton of accolades, statistically he don't meet the threshold. It's going to come down to him what the voters feel his impact on the game was.
I get it.
And we can if we just have a conversation on FYF Sports, we're going to have a big disagreement on how good Draymond Green is because, like I said, when I had the debate with Ticket TV, he thought Draymond Green was a bum and could be replaced by anybody. Well, I thought that Draymond Green was one of the most unique players we've seen in the game, and I don't know if the Warriors have the success that they do without him. And so just between
there's nuance to that. There really is nuance to that, right? Because a lot of people will tell you he's basically a Derek McKee with defense. Derek McKee did what Draymond Green did back in the 90s. And some people will tell you, okay, yeah, you're right. Draymond Green was a guy that basically allowed small ball to be played. He's a 6'6" guy who could play significant minutes at center. See, I can understand the nuance in that conversation. I can understand the nuance in that conversation. Again, I'll tell you that player for player, talent for talent, Billy Owens could have did what Draymond Green did.
No, it's not about what he did. It's not necessarily because everything you're saying is right, but it's not about that. It's about the fact that when you have 175 voters, the opinions can widely vary. And so when I see controversial players like Draymond, where there's a large variance, I understand that you're going to have a large people who think he has impact. You're going to have a lot of people that say maybe his impact is average. You're going to have a lot of people that say his impact, he didn't have any at all, and they're going to try to take him out or not give him any points for impact. So with players like Kobe, so with players like Steph Curry, you're not going to have a lot of variance on his impact. It is just widely agreed that he is one of the most impactful players in NBA history. Same with Jordan, same with Shaq, same with Wilt. These players, you're not going to see that crazy variance because their greatness is typically universally recognized. So the variance, like when you tell me Hal Greer has a lot of variance, well, I see that because if you have an 18-year-old or you have a 20-year-old writer doing their thing, when they get to impact, they don't know Hal Greer's.
They don't know. So that's the problem. That's the problem, though, Lamont, and I get it. And then you're gonna again. You have 20-year-old writers that don't understand it. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you again. No. Let me explain this because I'm gonna agree with you, but I'm gonna go further. You're gonna have 20-year-old writer who don't even understand the 90s guys. You understand what I'm saying? They ain't because they ain't see the 90s guys. You're gonna have writers that were around in the 70s. You're gonna have writers that were around. I can understand that part, and that's what I'm saying. That's what makes it a really. Even if you're telling me 85% is based, because that's what I tried to follow the whole time. The 85% is based on math, and then the 15%, which again could sway it one way or the other. But that's why I'm saying no matter how we do this, it's a very imperfect way of trying to do it. And again, that's just natural. As I said, when I want to relate it to my main topic about the problem is because we don't understand how to see. Go over 100 years from now, people are going to look at Draymond Green's stats in the stat book. Why the fuck is this bum in the Hall of Fame, and why the fuck is this bum? Like even with Casey Jones. Casey Jones might be the Draymond Green of his time, where you need to talk to an old head or somebody that watches the Celtics play almost every day to understand Casey Jones' importance to that team. But we're gonna look at the stat sheet and see Casey Jones averaged like 7 and 4. Why the hell is he a Hall of Fame player? Right? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. All I'm saying is No. All I was saying was the farther you go back, you can't even with the older players, because what I even tend to see is when you have 175 voters, even if they watch 90s players play, you're also going to have some people that have a large or extreme exaggeration of certain players or under evaluation. So, but if the farther you go back, it's hard. Like a lot of people don't know how. A lot of people don't understand Casey Jones' impact because one, you don't find that many games even on video to even watch. So even if you're older, you're even limited. Like the farther you go back, like I don't care who was living. I mean, you can't. You were listening to George Michael on the radio, and you're telling me that just because you were living at that time, you know his impact. At the end of the day,
as I said, you know who's around. They were alive for every year of the NBA. Every single year, the NBA 79 years old.
If you're alive.
Hold on. No, I'm just saying. Hold on. These are three guys who are alive, and as far as I know, because when they still like Hubie Brown just retired. He's one of them, right? He's 91 years old. He just retired. He was around. He was alive for every year of the NBA, and he was 12 the first year of the NBA, right? Lenny Wilkins, who I still think is in pretty good shape as well, and Bob Cousy, who's 96. And as far as I know, Bob Cousy was going back and forth with JJ Redick a couple of years ago. So again,
but Bob Cousy just came out and said there's no way in hell the players of his era could hang with players of today.
No, I got it. No, but he also said JJ Redick ain't the guy to run down my player.
I don't care what he said about JJ. He said we would not be able to hang with players of today. They're just too good. So do we go with what he said since he was there? Since he's 96? So do we take that and do we throw everything that those players did in the garbage can? And do we just go with what Bob Cousy said and just go with that new players couldn't hang?
Lamont, nuanced conversation, because again,
you brought up Bob Cousy and his opinion.
Lamont. You mean to tell me that Bill Russell, you put him in some Air Jordans, you put him with the training regimens and shit that they have today, telling me he couldn't hang with this era? I'm just saying. See, there's nuances to it.
I just think you missed the point. I don't think you understand what I'm saying.
I don't miss any point, bro. I don't miss any point. I understand nuances of conversation. So yes, as I said, I'm not saying that Bob Cousy isn't right, because there are a lot of guys that probably would have had problems because they don't have the physical makeup. But then there are guys that he did play against that he knows would have had the physical makeup, and then give them all the advancement, give them the traveling on, and
you can't tell me to use the opinion of people who were there, and I don't take everything that they say.
You're missing the point.
So hold on. If you want me to subjectively just use what people like Bob Cousy say, and let that supersede the stats and the numbers that we saw, and we just ignore all of that, and we just take what they saw with their own eyes, their eye test. Bob Cousy told us. He said there is no way we could hang with players of the day. Does that mean we then don't rank those players?
Every player in the league. Did he say every player in the league?
Yes.
Okay. That's
go read what he said.
Again, there was disadvantages. Okay, the point, but that's not even the point. It's not about him comparing players physically or whatever. The point I'm saying, the point that I'm making is that these are the only people that had that they can even tell you about who was the best players in this, that, and the third. As I said, again, remember Bill Russell's MVPs. Oh, they were not media voted MVPs. They were his peers voting him MVP. You understand what I'm saying?
So
this is why. Hold on.
How do you rank those old players if Bob Cousy hasn't told you?
See, that's the point. Again, as I say, I realize that there's advantages, it is disadvantages that go both ways. Again, there was super athletes in his era as well. And again, they're playing in canvas Chuck Taylor. They're playing in. They don't have like their feet difference and all that. There's a reason why they only played a certain amount. The court was still the same time. It was still 80-something games from 19 whatever to 1950 whatever until today. I mean, they went from 80 games to 81 games to 82 games. Okay, again, there's certain advantages and disadvantages that work both ways. I get it, I get it. There's certain things. Again, the rule that you're talking about rule changes. They would call carry on Allen Iverson's crossover. So you know they wouldn't allow they would call walk on every time Allen Iverson took his first step back in the 50s. So he would have to play a different way in their era, and they would have to adjust in his era. There's nuances to all these conversations. The reason why I brought those three up is because they got sound minds, they played in the game, they are legends and Hall of Famers in the game, and they were around for the whole entire league. That's why I say when guys look, put it this way. There are guys that probably say, I'm not ranking nobody like Fabian, who I love on All Ball TV, and shout out to you for putting them on your platform so they can get more streams and all that. But Fabian said, I'm not putting nobody before 1973. Now, I wanted to jump in the screen and say, Fabian, that means you're disqualifying both Knicks championships. So you tell me Willis Reed does not get a ranking from you. Fabian himself said that I wouldn't rank no guys from before 1973. That's crazy. So you mean you talking about all of the greats, the Busher, Monroe wasn't. You have to again. I guess that's what I'm just saying. You have to ask old head how good they would be. And again, I'm not just saying, oh, so and so just throw people in ever. That's the why you're never gonna have when it comes to these damn lists. And I really hate it because I really try to go. Since I've started liking basketball, I really try to understand how they played the game, who was good, who was the star of certain teams. Again, all I care about. And on my list is how long was Bill Russell one of the top 5 players in the league? How long was he an MVP level candidate? You know, the last 2 years he wasn't no longer an MVP player, but he was damn sure important to the Celtics, right? You see the numbers, and he was player coach. Was the whole. If you ever tried to play for the team you coach and play for the same team, you know it's a whole different. Have you ever done that, Lamont? Period. I'm asking you. Have you at any level like coached and played at the same time? Lamont?
Hold on, say that again.
Have you ever been a player coach on any team, like any level, like even the damn summer league or something? Have you ever coached and tried to coach and play for the same team?
No.
No, it's tough. I did it in military intramurals, and it's tough because you have to manage the team and then get on the floor and watch for fouls and minutes. And again, this was just military intramurals, right? You know, and I had a team that full of white boys. Because my section was all white boys and most of them didn't play basketball. But I found that everybody could handle the ball, and I had to watch. And it was just tough. I couldn't play my own game because I had to worry about the entire team. And mind you, different guys showing up every night. I don't care what level you play at. Coaching and playing at the same time is hard. And Bill Russell, again, it wasn't the complex NBA where you needed 17 assistant coach. That's the thing, right? Think about it. When Magic Johnson's rookie year, you had the coach and 2 assistant coaches. Now you got 10 assistant coaches on every team. It's just the game. I just want to put it out there that the game has changed over the years so many different ways. You understand what I'm saying? So the game has gotten more complex. It's gotten more conceptualized, specialized, the whole nine. So it really is. You're never really going to have a perfect formula. That's the part that I want. I really just want the nuanced conversation to be understood. Because again, Magic Johnson started his rookie year where it was basically, it was a coach and assistant coach. So when, what's the guy that rode the bike? They hired Westhead, and then they brought Raleigh out of the broadcast booth to be his assistant. It was one coach and one assistant coach. Now you got 10 assistant coaches on every bench. Again, that's how the game changes over the years. Again, you talk about the advancement. When Jordan's rookie year, they were flying commercial. Now, I know the planes were a little bit different. They didn't make it where they stuffed but I'm sorry, having my center have to report to the airport, and I know that you didn't have to go through TSA and none of that. You just go to the flight. But again, having my big-ass center who needs to ice his knees ride on a commercial flight, not first class because they couldn't afford it. Now, today, everybody got charter jets. Fly private jets to every jet. So traveling and everything is different. It's just a lot of difference that goes into the game, and that just had to be understood because these changes have gone in every sport. It's just basketball is the one where we have this contemptuous comparing the past to the present like this, and this is where these situations go. But again, you're gonna have writers who don't appreciate the fact that players retired when their franchise moved. You're not going to appreciate the fact that you played in a league where teams didn't survive. They contract. Again, four of the WNBA franchises have contracted. The Comets, which won the first 4 championships, they had to go out of business. This is what went on in the old NBA. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, there's nuances to it. At the end of the day, I really care about, again, like I said, because a lot of these people do not understand that a team might play a different style, and then that star is going to get a different set of numbers. You can never do it. You can never do it perfectly, man. That's different positions. Obviously, you expect a center to get more rebounds, right?
Yeah, but hold on, we can go. Everything that you're saying makes all the sense in the world. If for example, the top 10 or the top 20 was loaded with players of this era. The top 10 that Bleacher Report came out with is loaded with players from the 90s or sooner. It's players loaded with 80s players, mostly 80s, 90s, and players from beyond, like the Bill Russells and the Wilt Chamberlains. The only 2 players from what we can consider that are still playing today that are even in that listing, they're not even from this era. They're from this past era. Is LeBron and Curry. Outside of that, you got Shaq from the 2000s and the 90s. You got Jabbar from the 70s and the 80s. You got Magic, obviously, from the 80s. You got all these players are not from our era. So whatever system that they created, whatever criteria that they came up with, it didn't punish players of this past era that you're talking about. It actually gave them a ton of credit.
You're right. I get that.
So what you're saying is, when we go down this list, and even when we go past Kobe, you got Hakeem from the 90s. Right? Obviously, you got KD from this past generation. But you got Oscar Robertson. Then you got Jerry West. Right? Then you got KG from the 2000s. Right? Then you got Dirk from the 2000s. You got David Robinson from the 90s. Julius Erving from the 70s and 80s. Moses Malone from the 70s and 80s. Malone from the 90s. So all I'm saying is, all I see the top 25 loaded with players from past eras like the 80s, 70s, 80s, and 90s. It's not loaded with players of the day. So if you're telling me that it's flawed, because you've been telling me this whole time that all these players of the past are not getting your fair shake, why is the list top loaded? Why is the top of this list loaded with players of past eras?
Lamar, this is what you do on your channel. This is what you do on your channel, and I said that there's a high variance again, and pretty much as I'm at Damian Lillard, right? I'm at Damian Lillard right now, who has a 35. So Damian Lillard's on everybody's list, and he's at 50. Overall he's 64, and he's on everybody's list, but he goes from 53 to 88 again. So my theory, when you said who, is pretty much most of the people I'm seeing, right? Which is cool. Again, you got big game James Worthy. Goes as high as 28, as low as unranked. Again, it's going to be a whole. It's just going to be a lot of inconsistencies. And again, I get you. Look, you've done a good job of explaining the inconsistencies. I've stopped you because I've tried to, rather than let you, because again, it's really hard to the average mind, and I guess people with low attention spans, which is most sports fans, are not going to. Oh, damn! Tyler Coley got 25 today. Good. So, again, another. But anyway. The average mind, like I'm telling you, for a lot of people, if you looked at that formula, is on his whiteboard on the Big Bang Theory, all them goddamn what's the name? I'm just saying it really is, because it's just, I don't know, man. It's calculus. It's a lot of calculus in there, and sometimes the game is a lot more simpler than this. Again, I'm gonna look at Melo, 46 to 87. So nobody really hated on him, but guess what? Melo's highest ranking is lower than Reggie Miller's average ranking, and I got a particular problem with that. See, McGrady is right ahead. Why is Reggie Miller a better player than Tracy McGrady? Remember, y'all was going off telling me that Tracy McGrady could step into Kobe's shoes and win the same 3 rings. Now, I know you wasn't telling me, but there are a lot of people that took his side and thought that, right? How the hell is Reggie Miller, again, a player that I know outside of scoring, which again, he only averaged over 21 points one time in his career, and he never averaged over 4 of any particular stat. How does he go over a Tracy McGrady? What, because of the short prime? Well, Melo didn't have a short prime, and then Melo's behind McGrady. It's just, and Melo actually took a team to the conference final. Took a team. Melo in his rookie year at 19, took a team to from 17 wins to 43 wins. I'm just saying, it's just the subjectivity means, okay, then Melo got haters. I'm just saying, because even T-Mac spread is 34 to 91. It's just, again, at the end of the day, I think we've proven when it comes to this top 75, there is some bias. And if you're telling me 175 voters, which have 85%, pretty much that formula, that should be have some level of consistency in it. Well, in that 15%, I mean, come on, bro. You mean to tell me Melo has somebody with Melo's defense? A lot of people say Melo plays no defense, which is the stupidest. For anybody to say Melo is 41 years old, for all those haters, and it's a lot, half Puerto Rican. I say, yo, if you ever see Melo at the fucking court, go challenge him. Let's see if he takes you seriously, and see if you can score a bucket on Melo and his no playing defense ass. Come on, man. As Brian Scalabrine proved against my man George, bro, I'm closer to LeBron than you are to me. Anybody that plays at a certain level, I mean, come on, man. Anybody like the people that say that Melo played no defense. I watched Melo had to be coaxed into playing defense, which a lot of players do. He ain't the only one. I mean, but come on, man. It's just crazy. How the hell is Melo's highest rating lower than Reggie Miller's average rating? I'm gonna have a problem with that. And again, I don't care about the damn list that much. Again, because I know it's a lot of subjectivity. But you're trying to tell me it's 85% math, and again, even that math is a little flawed because you got errors and guys didn't play at the same time. They didn't play for the same type of team. Every team approaches differently. Every team is going to use the big man. Some teams are going to use the big man more. Some teams are going to, it's just different, man. So, we could wrap up that part, man. I mean, again, I think, do you agree that a lot of fans don't understand how teams are built or how to build teams? Like, right? They don't understand that, certain, let's just put it Bradley Beal, right? Bradley Beal means more to the Clippers. Well, he means less to the Clippers than he meant to the Phoenix Suns, right? Because obviously Phoenix is paying his salary. Now, now he goes to the Clippers for a discount. But the fact of the matter is, Phoenix counted on Beal more. So if you saying that Beal, if like the Clippers didn't get a good player today to fit in a totally different role, that's where a lot of players have a hard time conceptualize how to build these teams. That's why, GMs don't listen to fans, right? It's just they can't understand teams and approaches the concepts, and sometimes they think, oh, just get this guy and it's gonna make our team better. No, sometimes these moves they either pan out or they don't. Again, the Clippers are playing with house money. They didn't need Bradley Beal, but Bradley Beal, they sure can use Bradley Beal, right? You want to talk about this formula?
No. I mean, you said something about Bradley Beal. What about it? Like,
no, the fact is
you
like,
think it's gonna work?
Well, I think it's that they got nothing to lose, and I think where Bradley Beal comes in is with Kawhi and along in the two James Harden, there's going to be that. And now Bradley Beal's probably going to be injured himself. But
my question to you is, we just watched Bradley Beal in the third option role.
Yes.
And he was trash because he didn't want to buy into the role.
Yes.
He's now going to another team where he's going to have to be the third option.
But I'm not starting Bradley Beal. Why are you starting Bradley Beal?
Okay, that's the exact point that I'm saying. What I'm saying is Bradley Beal was disgruntled with Phoenix because he wanted to get more shots up and be treated like a 1 or 2 option. He's now with the Clippers, where he's going to be a 3 option at best. Even if he comes off the bench, that makes it even worse. He's a 6 man. How do you get optimal Bradley Beal when, one, he's only valuable when he has the ball in his hands? Two, doesn't give you anything on the defensive end. Well, are you going to take the ball out of Kawhi Leonard's hands and give it to Bradley Beal so he can be the lead dog?
See, you're not getting.
We just saw him fail in his role. We just saw him fail in the same role in Phoenix.
Yo, JB, you still with us?
Oh yeah. Hold on.
I know you've been quiet a long time. All right. Here's the thing. Right now, that's the thing. What kind of a locker room guy is Bradley Beal? Right? Because Bradley Beal has to know. Look, you were bought out by Phoenix for a certain reason. It didn't work. You were now when you agreed to come here, but Ty Lue has got to sit him down and be like, listen, Bradley, look, this is gonna be nice with your night. As I said, Kawhi is bound to miss 20 games, right? How many did he miss this year? James Harden, again, there's gonna be Bradley Beal's nights. But Bradley Beal, you are not the center of what we do. The same way anybody that picks up Ben Simmons will be smart to come to a team like the Knicks or a team like Detroit or a team like where he does not have, nobody is counting on you to be first number 1 overall pick Ben Simmons. Nobody anywhere would count on Bradley Beal to be Washington go for a scoring title. Bradley Beal knows this because guess what? There's a reason why he didn't want to waive his no trade clause because he didn't want to change his role or whatever. But the fact of the matter is, Phoenix said it's better to pay you your last year and let you go to where you want to go. So that's on you. You know, you go to a place where you feel that you can get your, but Bradley Beal has to buy in. If you don't buy in, then guess what? He's a no, like, we're just going to cut you. If you're not going to buy in, but if you can buy in and understand, it's going to be nice where you can get to throw it back because we're going to rest Harden this night, right? They would make sense. Like Bradley Beal is to help the Clippers get through the 82. Now, whatever role, because this is what happened with Westbrook. Where y'all said Westbrook would never accept a bench role, and ever since Westbrook left LA, he went to the Clippers, then he went to Denver, and he accepted the bench role. And there were times where Mike Malone said, "Okay, we need a spark. Let me put Westbrook in there," and he was able to start. Then when it's time to go back to the bench, Westbrook went back to the bench. Westbrook has helped every team that he's played for since leaving. Now it wasn't his fault that both Kawhi and Paul George got hurt that year. It was down to him and Norman Powell against the damn Suns that year. Remember that first round? Again, that's why you get a Bradley Beal to basically fill that.
No, King Roll. I understand. I don't think you understand what I'm saying. I understand why you add Bradley Beal.
Yes.
I'm not talking about that. He's a talented basketball player.
And we know.
I'm saying that Bradley Beal still thinks he's the Washington Bradley Beal. He wants to be a number 1 option. And if he's not a number 1 option, so he becomes a negative on the basketball court.
Then why didn't Bradley Beal go to Charlotte? Hold on. Why didn't Bradley Beal go to a Charlotte or a Portland?
Okay, so what I'm saying is, how for 82 games do you get Bradley Beal to buy into the same role that did not work in Phoenix?
Well, again, that's why I use Russell.
I know it's based on what he's shown us.
Well, then that's it. If he's a bad guy, then he's a bad guy. But I'm bringing up Russell Westbrook, who went from 22-12-12 to coming off 2 years later, coming off the Clippers bench after 2 teams bought him. After the Lakers gave him up gave a draft pick to get rid of him, and then the Utah Jazz bought him out. Russell Westbrook went to the Clippers and right away bought into the role. Matter of fact, when they got Harden and he had a chance to start, he said, "I'll come off the bench." Now look, for all those people that say Russell Westbrook is a bad locker room guy, no, Russell Westbrook didn't care about his pride. And if Bradley Beal cares about his pride, then guess what? Okay, we'll cut you and you go play for Charlotte if you want to score 30 again. But again, that's what I'm saying. If guys can buy in, then guess what? Bradley Beal will have a chance to help expected to be very good Clippers team win, and then that's his new role. But if he don't, then adios. That's what I'm saying. It's really nothing to lose because you're getting a guy like Bradley Beal who only that same year Russell Westbrook went 22-12-12. Bradley Beal was playing for the scoring title. Remember? That was 2021.
Yeah, but what you give up is you let an all-star Norman Powell go to bring in Bradley Beal.
Well, no, you traded Norman Powell and you brought in John Collins so you could shore up your power.
You did. But what I'm saying is Norman Powell was doing that same role and he was an all-star. So do you think he can do what Norman Powell did and excel?
Well, the thing is Kawhi now moves back. Instead of playing a 4, Kawhi moves to the 3. And I think him playing the 3, as me and JB talked about, will help him because he's got to do less of the rebounding, less banging. I think a 4 bangs more, whatever. Kawhi gets to go back to his normal position. I'm still starting Derrick Jones because he's my defensive. Him between him and Kawhi, those are my defensive wing. Kawhi is not spring chicken Kawhi no more either. You're not gonna expect him to be DPOY Kawhi. So I'm gonna then bring Bradley Beal in play the bench role like Westbrook did over here. Play the bench. Trust me, we'll write a role in there for you.
You can tell a player one thing if he buys in is another thing. I'm saying, what track record does Bradley Beal have of buying in?
We'll see. We got to see. At the end of the day, there's nothing to lose because what did they give him a vet minimum salary? I assume, right? I'm sure they didn't give him
because Russell Westbrook bought in LA. He played exceptionally well.
That's what I'm saying. And Denver.
The only people that didn't think he played well was fans because fans are dumb.
Exactly. That's my point. That's the point.
So are you talking about the team?
That's the point of this whole show.
No, hold on. I'm not talking about it from what fans think. I'm talking about it from what the team thinks.
You're right. And that's on the coaching and the management. I'm sure these guys have, and I'm sure you're gonna have Ty Lue and the rest of the assistant coaching staff that's got to. Again, how much film does Bradley Beal? That's what I say. A lot of these guys, do they watch film? Bradley Beal should visualize. Okay, this is what the Clippers do. This will fit my game, and I know I'm gonna have to play for my playing time. I'm gonna have to show them that I should get 30 minutes a night, and if I got to get it off the bench, I got to get it off the bench again. That's why the 6th Man of the Year was created, because guys like Lou Will, Jamal Crawford, Ricky Pierce, the historic 6th Man of the Year, they said, guess what? All right, cool. This again, Bill Walton won 6th Man of the Year on 86 Celtics. He went from, he realized I'm no longer Bill Walton. It can be a franchise center. So I'm gonna come here to this team and win another ring and play 6th Man of the Year, play six man role. Again, if Bill can put his ego to the side and realize, okay, guess what? I'm gonna just show them when I get the minutes that I can play in this concept. That's it. Yeah. Shout out to Mark as I watch Mark Jones. You know who Mark Jones is, right? You know who Mark Jones is, right? The commentator? Okay. Yeah, look. Bro, I'll tell you, man. I don't know if he just dropped off or whatever. Boy, I'll tell you, man, bro. We went a long time, bro. And about a part of this conversation that I really don't care about, bro. But I want to say shout out to Mark Jones, because Mark Jones, as he said, teams now play a conceptualized type of offense, and the players that come on teams really they got to get players to buy in. This is why. Again, Ron doesn't understand the nuance, right? When you're Magic Johnson's rookie year, you have a coach and an assistant coach. Now you got 11 coaches because there's so much nuance and there's so much that all these coaches have to worry about one aspect of the game that they have to work with players individually on. Again, this guy being a coach should understand that, right? I'm just saying. I'm just looking at it from me and you are fans, but we can understand that they have 10 coaches now. Most teams have, I'm sure most teams have at least 6, 7 offense. I know my Knicks had 10 coaches. And again, we're trying to figure out who's going to be Mike Brown's offense coordinator, because everybody don't want to let their guy go or whatever. But Mike Brown has to find a coach that he finds good enough, like he's comfortable enough to be his offense coordinator. But again, that's these guys' job when you get a Bradley Beal to make him buy in. Bro, let me tell you something, man. Yo. Bro. Well, shout out to Lamar, man. And again, if this is true, and I'll take them at face value, that 85% of this is a math formula, bro, this is still wild. But this is why I say, man, JB, I'm not trying to act like I'm this genius or whatever. Somebody probably said about my 1400 SAT. I'm just saying, bruh. Oh, I'm like, bro, can I bro, I got an audience. Like, you sitting here explaining every aspect of you can, long story short, 85% of it is based on accolades, stats, and they put into a formula. And then 15%, I still don't get it. 175 guys. So you're going to tell me, again, 175 guys, and all of them, most of them gave Kobe 10 on all of that. 5 on defense, and that shit, 10 on impact and all that shit. Then it still doesn't make sense. Now what you're telling me is then the statistics aren't fair, because again, I don't understand how Curry has better statistics than both Hakeem and Kobe. How do you explain that, bro? How? Because the first 4 or 5 years, Kobe's. I know, and again, they using peak and all this shit, and it's just, bro, it's head scratching, man. It really is head scratching, bro. I mean, I wanna say we were given the spin. We were given a lot of spin here, but as much as he was trying to explain to us, and again, he said not one analytic. Then he's telling me Lowe, who he's cool with, is lying, because Lowe came up there saying they used one writer told him or whatever that Kobe didn't lead the league in PER, and that was held against him. I mean, who's telling the truth here, bro? Again, it's bro. Chinese remember to. Yeah, the Chinese, bro. Like I said, and I tried to get it off, but Lamar just wanted to. And I'm trying to, because he's the guest. I'm trying to get him the chance to, but it was just, bro. This shit is looking like if you started to. I'm in my mind trying to like visualize it, and it's looked like some shit Sheldon would put on his goddamn whiteboard, right? On the Big Bang Theory, like this is calculus. You can't judge the fucking game by calculus, because again, Lamont, anybody, these different errors is going to approach for different parts of the game. You can't tell me that that's a fair way to look at it. And if you're going to then tell me then, oh, I'm using error, bro, well, man. Oh man, we gotta,
like I said, man, they must have drew up sitting atop the bleachers. And like I said, I just think it's a thing, man, where we're entering the realm of virtual reality.
Yes.
Rather than exactly what happened.
We're in the goddamn Matrix.
We're in the Matrix, and they can come up with a new formula tomorrow. So I want to kick out a new formula tomorrow.
Yep.
And we saw, and they trying to. It was off the rails when they trying to make Jordan Pippen and Pippen Jordan.
Yep.
Jordan rookie year, he averaged 28.2 points a game. Pippen rookie year, he averaged 7.9, but some kind of way, they was on equal billing,
They equal. Same team. Jordan was a rookie. He had Orlando Woolridge, who was an established player. He had a few established players. As I come back to uncover, the Bulls actually drafted a few good players ahead of Michael Jordan. Well, actually they didn't. Woolridge was the only good player. I'm sorry. But at the end of the day, Jordan came in and took over the league. Scottie came in and had to learn the game. But they want to tell you that these guys are the same dudes. Birds of a feather. It's just that Jordan held Kobe Pippen back. Nonsense, man. Look. Bro, that's what I'm going to start. Shout out to Philip Fry. My man said Bazinga. Oh, man. Oh, shit. I got an idea, bro. We're going to talk about it behind the scenes.
Oh, cool.
We're going to talk about it behind the scenes, man. My God, bro. That was wild. And again, bro, you can give us the exact formula. I'm trying, again, you're not going to explain to me how you have these crazy variants. And again, first of all, he said who? You saw that, right? I'm like, okay, anybody with a 30 level variance, 30 spot variance is crazy. Again, Draymond Green and Rain is 43. Mind you, These guys, based on stats and accolades and cultural this, blah, 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 think that Draymond Green is a better player than Carmelo Anthony. You know, they think that Draymond Green is a better, mind you, they played roughly in the same era. No, well, Melo. Between greatest Olympic performers in U.S. history, you're not gonna give that credit, or just NBA. I mean, bro, this is wild, man. It's wild, bro. Look, guys, I man. I know I like at some point, and I wanted to get an understanding of it, but I mean, really, like it's like, bro, you're going on about this formula, and at the end of the day, I do not, yo. Yeah, there's another bus rider here too, man. Like I said, Rayman. Because again, I'm trying to follow the concept. I follow it, but again, you got to tell me how the statistical variance based on error. Man, come on, man. We talking basketball here, not science and calculus, and that's the problem. If Bleacher Report is really trying, if Bleacher Report is really trying to use a calculus statement to determine their top 100 players. I mean, my God. But again, you know what happens too when it comes to the variance? Because this is what ties in. They don't understand how these teams were built. When I told you Casey Jones stories, back and look, Casey Jones, look at those numbers, 7 points and 4 rebounds at the end of the day. People are going to, 50, 40 years from now, going to look at Draymond Green with all those triple single years and not understand why is Draymond Green even in the Hall of Fame? Let's know on the top 100 players list. You feel what I'm saying? And that's a disservice to Draymond Green because we understand. You talk about Curry, who's in the top 10. Curry is not Curry without Draymond Green. We see this. Curry can't even put up his numbers without Draymond Green in. When Draymond Green is suspended for choking out Rudy Gobert for a month, Curry becomes an average player. But see, you're going to have to talk to him. That's the part. People might understand. See, it's like, you can't understand other people's understanding. It's crazy.
I came across a video where it said Michael Jordan finished the top of this list over LeBron James by 1 vote.
Yeah, 175 people. Now, first of all, how's it 1 vote? Did you use an average or not? Did you use these stats or not? It's retarded, bro. It's really retarded. It's 1 vote. But wait a minute, you telling me then? You mean tell me there's some people that think that Jordan didn't have cultural impact and defense? Really? Because we're talking about defense and other aspects of the game, Jordan should have the defense by a mile. So plus he should have the cultural by a mile. Now, when you talk about stats and stuff like that, Jordan was the Don at his position, at his overall, like how many score titles? Oh, so he don't run away from it. So he don't run away with the score title. But guess what? Even if he took 5, you capped him out at 5. He has 5 scoring titles. LeBron has 1. LeBron has 1 assist title. Jordan has 2 steal titles. E4. What can I say, man? What can I say? I'm gonna see if I'm still in Wi-Fi range. You hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, man. Look, see, great minds think alike. Great minds think alike. The Dreamer Pro said that too, bro. It's just trust me. You're not gonna pull it. See, I think Lamont on his channel where he stopped you from talking, and I look, bro. How long did I get this man? Yo, I really appreciate you for hanging around and not dropping off. But I want you to understand, right? This is how these clutch guys get down. And you know, we had one of the clutch agents on our show tonight. He can deny it all he wants. but homie's the clutch agent. And again, I don't care. I mean, LeBron's number 2. What are you beefing about, right? And matter of fact, you got LeBron, you got Jordan, as Lamar said, you got LeBron number 2 and the Jordan number 1. Even you being the clutch guy. It's just, again, I say this, man. Again, people don't understand. I hope because I learned something. Again, like I said, even letting him dribble on about this formula, I've learned something. Now, if it's, again, I still don't get it because it just doesn't make sense to me how you would have all these crazy variants. So again, I'm only getting it. I was just looking. I didn't get to past 50. Matter of fact, the last guy I looked at is T-Mac, I think, who's like 59. And again, how do people Reggie Miller? Again, you telling me cultural variance and cultural what culture? What Reggie Miller is famous for having 2 good games against the Knicks. Outside of that, man, come on, man. I mean, he played for 18 years, 17 years. I mean, Melo played for 18 years too. Bro, what can I say, man? Oh my God, what a day! But again, it was a good show, man. Chad, I really appreciate Philip Fry. I really appreciate, bro. We had to listen to that. That was my man. He put us in PBS territory, bro. I mean, bro. And I want you to know, this is the guy to give me 5 seconds to cook when I come on his panel, bro. I mean, at this point, I mean, what can I do, bro? I mean, it is what it is. I appreciate cats for watching. My mama said, "Yo, Fry, man, you gotta pull up one of these days, man. You gotta chop it up with us, man." But I really, I appreciate y'all. As I said, man, I'm sitting here doing this show. I didn't even eat dinner, man. My dinner was one glass of goddamn Dr. Thunder, bro. Dr. Thunder, not even Dr. Pepper, Dr. Thunder. I took a gulp of Dr. Thunder. I'm finna take my shower, hit the bed, man. I gotta get up in the morning. Oh, shit. Shout out to, bro, we went 3 hours, bro. Now you understand how that guy can go 9 hours, right? The other night they went 6 hours. Remember the night I was talking to you, right? Before I got on the before I hit the road, they went 7 hours.
Oh, talking about that Game 5 in 1988.
Bro, I mean, what else were they talking about? Bro, they were really talking about Kobe, and then CJ pulled up. Let me just let CJ cook. I don't know. CJ, what's up, man?
Oh, only thing I wanted to say, LeBron not number 2, Kobe number 2. People got to stop putting LeBron number 2. That's crazy.
Yo, you the same CJ to be on Ticket TV? Do you ever be on Ticket TV panel, CJ?
No, I'm kind of new to this. I just started joining panel, so I'm still learning. Like, I'm trying still, I'm still learning.
I know, just 'cause your voice sounds familiar, man. I know. Have you ever called in Carsino?
No, I think I seen you on. I was on the FYF.
Oh, okay. All right. So I mean, look, I appreciate you coming over and viewing, man. And you know what I'm saying? Like, we really try to have deeper, better conversations over here. As I said, man, I touched on the top 100 stuff. I didn't want to make it the basis of my show. Like, I wanted to give it 20 minutes, you know what I'm saying? And look, man, you got Kobe too. Lamar from FYF came up here. He explained us the formula. I don't believe he has a reason to lie. If they telling me that 85% of it,
they bias about LeBron though.
Of course.
Goat James, Gill, they all biased about LeBron.
Of course, because you know what? They spin everything away from the truth to shine on LeBron. And I'm telling you, like, they will not give Jordan. I mean, I'm trying to, like, they won't give Jordan credit on anything, right? Because I get it. you feel that the media has glazed Jordan and that he has to be knocked down a peg. I get that part, but bro, y'all get to the point where y'all be straight lying. It is bizarro world. I was listening back, bro. JB, I was listening back when Johnny was on the show, man. If you get a chance, man, at least watch, because I put it in segments so you can watch, because I put it where, especially the last 20 minutes, I think Johnny really got into his cap, and I let him go. Bro, it's crazy. And I was listening back to stuff that Johnny said, and I let him go because it was really just, I said, it's to have a conversation. I didn't want to have a debate, contentious debate. And I told you I was at my family reunion, so I didn't want to get to the point where I was yelling from my room and everybody like, why is Roland yelling? Why is Roland yelling? You know, I explained to him I'm on my podcast or whatever, but bro, it's wild. And it's like, you know, again, I'm trying, I didn't want to have, again, I tell this, when I go up to their show, I don't try to have a debate. I try to learn and conceptualize and this and that. But when y'all feel y'all capping, I'm gonna call it out. But then you in the chat, oh, King Speaks don't know what the fuck he talking about. King Speaks is, oh, why y'all have King Speaks up here? Because they try to get clips out of me and try to make me sound stupid, bruh. This guy came up with some Sheldon fucking Cooper goddamn formula, and I like, bro. It still doesn't make sense how you got Kobe behind Curry. It don't make sense. It don't.
And
I don't care what you say.
Curry, only thing he got more than Kobe is one MVP.
Yeah.
I think a lot of it too is like trying to elevate a certain style of play versus another style of play. I think a lot of it is based on that too.
Yeah.
Sorry about
that. Go ahead. You got it, CJ.
I was just saying it's funny to me because they diminish Kobe for who he played with, but they don't do that with Magic and Kareem. And they don't do that with
Steph. They don't do that with Steph. Going and calling the guy. Yeah, after you lose the final, calling the guy that you beat in the conference finals, calling us what a lot of people think is the second best player in the league. See what I'm saying? It's the inconsistency. And it's stupid. You're trying to tell me these little young writers and these 20-year-olds don't sit there, or whoever's writing. He said 175 different writers. I didn't think Bleacher Report had 175 employees. Yeah, you're just telling me that they get contributors that just randomly. It still don't make sense to me, man. It really don't.
It's all narrative. It's all narrative to push LeBron up there and diminish Kobe because they know Kobe and MJ wasn't a debate first. So you push Kobe down and down, it could push them out the debate. That's all it is, and I could see what they're doing.
Yeah, again, when people, again, like I said, when I said the 1,400, and I'm not the math genius, but I'm nice with the numbers, bro. I'm nice with the numbers. A lot of these numbers I can sit there and do in my head, bro. I can sit there and do these numbers in my head, but it ain't even about that. It's like what you cannot conceptualize to me, what you cannot figure out if it's 85% of the formula is numbers and therefore unbiased, which again I was trying to explain to Lamont and you know, I was gonna let him finish. Like, this dude been talking for 25 minutes about this formula, bro. I'm trying to stop you as we go along to, okay, all right, this part is 35%, this part is this. I still don't get how you have a variance where one guy, because that's what I'm saying. The one thing I know about math and statistics, if 85% of a formula is based on, you're not going to have these wild data sets all over the place. Because they're telling me one guy says that Kobe has a 0 cultural impact, which is absolutely bullshit. You understand what I'm saying? So what you didn't telling me is that Kobe's numbers, and as I was explaining earlier, Kobe and LeBron are going to have different numbers because they play different positions. They shoot from different parts of the floor. They use different ways. Kobe plays off ball. You're never going to have a right set. You understand what I'm saying? JB, I know you get this, but you're never going to have a right set because, again, a center compared to a power forward, compared to a point guard, they're going to have a whole totally different set of numbers. So then you got to tell me that point guards only, but then what happens when Magic, who's an exceptional rebounding point guard, or Westbrook, who's an exceptional rebounding guard? How do you put him in? You see what I'm saying? It'll never be a perfect situation because, again, One thing I know about basketball is no one way to play this game.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? And they'll have you believe that LeBron's way is better than Kobe's way. Well, guess what? Even objectively, Kobe didn't have to run around the league and recruit the whole league to win his 5. LeBron did. So you want to tell me cultural? Guess what? Now, when I sit there and say, you know what, I'm going to criticize LeBron for how he won his 4 rings. He had to jump from team to team and recruit the whole goddamn league. We all know that LeBron wants to play whatever he can play. We all know this. Kobe felt he didn't need no fucking all-star. Pau Gasol was enough, a one-time all-star before he came to the league. That's all he needed. You feel me? Before he came to the Lakers, Pau Gasol made 1 all-star team. Kobe didn't want all these motherfuckers on his team, bro. He went in 1 shot. Because guess what? I ain't get no credit when it was Shaq. He said that. We uncovered you saying it. And again, yes, because it was Kobe. Maybe Kobe at 24 years old, was 25 years old, whatever, when Shaq left, was listening to stupid fans. But guess what? He was 25 years old listening to stupid fans. Everybody's going to say every Shaq championship I won with Shaq, I was a Scottie Pippen, which is, again, a dumb concept. It's a dumb concept, right, JB?
Yeah.
Because again, right, during Lamar falls asleep during that because he don't. I'm telling you, that boy, that cat is Rain Man, and a lot of these cats are, bro.
He called Rain Man up.
When it's money time, Kobe was the man on them teams. When they actually had to play against, yes, Helly, Shaq was lazy, and again, Shaq was fouling out against old ass potbelly Arvydas Sabonis, because as we know, if Shaq had a guy who could physically withstand his force, Shaq wasn't as dominant. So then you needed a Kobe. You needed an operator, a finisher, a Batman like Kobe. You feel what I'm saying? CJ?
And not only that, LeBron lost 6 times, and every super team he had failed. It's not like they dominated.
Thank you.
Let's
keep it real.
So number 2.
See, so this is what happens when I put LeBron number 8. Because again, I say I don't fault you for trying to win with All-Stars, but guess what? You got all these All-Stars and you still didn't win, and you didn't win dominantly. You needed Ray Allen to save you. You were lucky in 2012 that y'all got by the Celtics, because the Celtics had y'all down 3-2. You understand what I'm saying? You had to play like a monster in game 6. And the point I make, Jordan would have never had to go through that. Jordan would have had to, especially with Wade and Bosh as teammates, and that Celtics team being aged, and they were fighting amongst each other. Remember, Rondo and Ray Allen fighting each other. Woo, boy. So, we could again, like I said, man, these conversations, that nuance, you're never really gonna have a real, again, people gonna call you crazy for having Kobe number 2. And to me, Kobe is consensus top 10. I hate him. I have Kobe 7. Again, I am a little, I do give guys like Wilt Chamberlain all them props. When he tried to say Bob Cousy, said, see what I'm saying? Bob Cousy is gonna go for his era. I guarantee you, he felt that Bill Russell could play in any era. I guarantee if you talk to Bob Cousy now, he felt that Bill Russell would have made the adaptations to every era. But then, what happens when Cousy said? Well, did Lenny Wilkins say it? Does Hubie Brown say it? Or does Hubie Brown understand the nuance? That when he played and Lenny Wilkins played, all right, they played in an era, they played with racism, motherfuckers could smoke in the goddamn arena. Could you imagine trying to play basketball with motherfuckers smoking up in the bleachers? You can indoor smoke. And I got to run up and down with smoke all in the goddamn air, bro. A whole different world in the 60s, man. They don't, man, bro.
Yeah, 60 basketball is way different from
Way different. That's what I'm saying. The advancements,
I was just gonna say that's why I don't really like look at Bill Russell as like, oh, he got 11 rings. Because they only use that because when we say Kobe or Jordan got more rings, they bring Bill Russell up. But he
And they
don't got the
do it.
stats. He just got the rings. But his whole team was like stars. And then they play like 2 teams or something like that. Or one
Yeah,
team to
I
get
mean,
to the
so what
final.
would happen again? What would happen? You had 9 teams in the league, right? So I think they would do 16 playoffs, three in the West, 3 in the East. So you would have really basically 2 teams play a short series. Like the 1 seed would get a bye. 2 teams play a short series, like best of 3, best of 4, most of those years, and then the conference finals would be will be a 7-game series, and then the finals will be a 7-game series. So a lot of times if the Celtics got the 1 seed, they would basically get a bye to the conference finals, and then so sometimes you could play up to 3 series, but most of the time, and then if you got a couple more teams, the playoffs expanded. That's just how it went. But again, at the end of the day, most of the time you playing against Bill Russell. I mean, you playing like if you Bill Russell, you playing against Wilt Chamberlain or Oscar Robinson, and then you playing in the finals against Jerry West most of them years. Sometimes Oscar Robinson. It depends, man. The league was just different. So, but baseball, football, same thing. You had only 13 teams, 12 teams in football. You had like 16 teams in baseball, and for most time you only had the World Series. You didn't have a chip. You know what I'm saying? It would be 1 team for the American, 1 team for the National. Nobody forced them for only having a World Series. You understand what I'm saying? It would just be really that's what the NBA should have done. Whoever wins the regular season in the East and the West, and you only play a final. But the playoff, I mean, NBA understands we get more money when we have a longer playoff. So they expanded the playoffs every time they added more teams. It was just a different world. You got to understand the history of it. But yeah, it's really simple just to use rings. You got to use a lot more than that. So I don't know, man. It's just dumb. Because again, you got to use championships. You tell me you're not using championships. You tell me you're not using championships, then guess what? Another one, Scottie Pippen shouldn't be above Ewing because Ewing got better numbers than Scottie. I'm saying, even when you adjust it for position and all that shit. It's just, man, listen, man. CJ, I appreciate you pulling up, man, because I'll be trying to gain understanding, and again, these cats are capping. They just want to confuse you so they can put their bias criteria about LeBron out there, and it's just wild, man. It's
Yeah,
just
they just
wild.
being too disrespectful because now it's like Kobe a target, and
Yeah,
everybody
yeah,
just it's coming across like jealousy for real. Like
bro.
they showing their true colors because he was winning and getting all the
Uh huh.
glory back then. So now they try to
They're
show
6-0.
fake love.
That perfect record in the finals, dog. Is nothing they
Exactly.
can do to chip that down. They can sit here and come up with this and that. At the end of the day,
Mm-hmm.
come money time, that man in Chicago, man, he never faltered. Never.
Well, he had a couple of times, but yeah. You talking about a big series? He had a couple of bad in the games, but when you talk about a series, again, there was never a reason. See, as much as they tried to put that out there and show you film, that Jordan was never the reason why his Bulls lost. The Bulls would lose because they played the superior team. Johnny came on here and tried to say Jordan underachieved. Again, this is
Gotta check
after
this
he
out.
said this, bruh.
Jordan never lost a series where his team was favored to win.
I know,
The
and you
other
know what
guy,
Johnny said?
He said
the other
Miami
guy's been
wasn't a
favored to
super
win
team and they
3
He said
times.
Miami
overachieved
was a super team. They
against
overachieved, bruh. I
the
dared them to,
Mavericks.
bro. I want them to come in the ring and actually put this on debate. I want y'all to come in the ring and put this on debate, man. I know y'all want to do everything on y'all channel and y'all think it sound fly, but you get all your followers and your sycophants that believe all that bronze-sexual bullshit. But bro, there is no way you telling me that the 2011 and I don't base it on degenerate gambler, bro. You telling me Vegas? I brought up the Sonny Liston Ali thing. So, Ali was an underdog because Vegas called him an underdog, right? When was that fight? In 64, Malcolm X was still alive. Think about that. You just want 61 years ago. You gonna tell me that Ali wasn't based on Vegas? Because Vegas, you know, Vegas existed, and these lines were out there. Ali was a major underdog. He's not the last. He's not the first one. Oh, I don't go by. What do you go by then? You know about the media, the hype? How are you telling me anybody's an underdog? Because that's where it comes from. That's where it literally comes from. The Vegas gambling line. Who did the general public expect? The general public expected the Heat to beat everybody, and LeBron himself. So they come up in here spinning, bro. You can't. Again, I'm not a stupid man, bro. You can't. I'm not let you come on here and say this.
A lot of people outside the media and all these sports writers, they think Kobe better than LeBron. It's just the narrative they push for LeBron. I'm trying to tell you that LeBron.
I'm gonna say this, right? If I thought that they were equal in talent and equal in ability, right? Which I think they pretty much were. Again, the numbers are shown because they play different styles. They play different. LeBron, as we know, LeBron and his shooting efficiency numbers is based on the fact that he gets to the rim and makes 75% of his shots at the rim. 40%, like 30-something% of his shots is taken at the rim, and he makes 75% of them. Outside of 3 feet, the man, what did you tell me he shot? 37% for his career? Keep this man outside of 3 feet. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No,
I was just gonna say, and that's why people keep saying his field goal percentage better, but I'll be saying the same thing. Most of his points is next to the rim.
At the rim. At the rim. Kobe is taking a killer shot. Yeah. So if I believe that they're similar in talent, the one reason why I got Kobe over Shaq, over Shaq and LeBron, because that's what happened. I got Kobe at 7, Shaq at 8, LeBron at 9. You don't want to know who my top 5, 6 is. You're gonna call me an old head, whatever. But anyway, the reason why I have them too, because if my life was on the line, right? Yeah, life was on the line. If somebody got and I needed to pick one player to win this game or win this series, I'm picking Kobe over both Shaq and LeBron. Because Shaq got swept 5 times. Now, you can say Kobe was swept too, but Kobe was not, as y'all said, Kobe was not the man. And once Kobe became the man that you can count on, Shaq got swept 3 times with Penny. You realize that, right? His first swept. If you're the most dominant player in the league, why are you getting swept every year?
He got swept 7 times, right?
7 times, but 5 times in the 90s. And then 2 times with Kobe. I don't think they got swept. The next time he got swept was 2007. I think in 2005 and 2007. So he only got swept with Kobe, young Kobe. Once Kobe grew up into his superstardom, he never got swept with Kobe, and they won most of their series. Then he got swept another 2 times. I think once with the Heat and once with where did he go after the Heat? Phoenix. I think he got swept 1 time with Phoenix. So even when he got swept 1 time with Wade. And I know Wade probably was hurt, but again, you Shaq, you dominant, right? And I think he got swept 1 time with Nash. Or he could have been 2 times with Wade. I don't know. Either way, you see what I'm saying? There's a reason why, because when it's money time, you cannot go to Shaq. But over the course of, as I said, yeah, man. Birthday count. Man, listen, man, we have fun up here, bro. The next show, I'm thinking about doing a show tomorrow. If not during the weekend, but I'll see what I could conceptualize, man. But this was a good show. Like I said, man, I'm just trying to get better, bro. I hope that goddamn fucking Bleacher Report formula that he wanted to get off. Because I hope he goes on his own show and explains it for 45 minutes. You think he will?
I don't think so.
Bro, 45. I mean, like, bro, and I'm trying to.
Who is these dudes that's voting though? Like who? Like do these? I know just
He
put
said
their name
100.
on it.
He said
Like is it violent?
175. Hold on. He said 175 sports writers from across the country. And again, then you got some guys that straight up hating on
No,
Kobe because it don't make
that's
sense.
that's just a narrative they push it so they'll be like you don't think they try to make it seem like it's everybody else's opinion, but it's everybody agreeing on the same thing and deliberately
Exactly.
doing it. You can't.
Exactly. It's
That's you
nonsense,
trying
bro.
to fool the fans and stuff. That's all that is.
Yeah, man. But all right, man. We finished something. It's 113, man. We finished something on the East Coast at least. I know it's 12. Where you from, CJ? You from? You can just tell me what coast you on. East Coast, West Coast. You got,
Yeah, I'm on the East Coast.
oh, okay. Well, yeah, man. We tripping. Yo, FYI, we finna get up out of here, bro. I don't. I'm not. I try. I say things I say in your chat. I pull up on your stream. And this, that, and the third, man. But a brother got to get up, man. I can't go 7 hours like you. I can't go 9 hours like you, bro. Three
He
and a
had to
half
come
is
in
good
and
enough
let's
for me,
talk
man.
about LeBron.
We literally just hit 3.5, bro. You know what I'm saying? So, yo, JB, you got any part words?
Oh, that's just it's same old song, man. You know, they come out there, man. Probably some guys, man, probably got demoted from their position or something. You know, they want to take their frustrations out on the world. And came up with this.
Man. Listen, man.
Ain't no telling, man. But at the end of the day, you know, Kobe's he's the only player in league history that played on a team where the league blocked the trade for to keep him from winning more championships. That's all I can say.
I feel you. You know, and it is what it is, bro. It just is what it is. Kobe went to his grave knowing can say, I'm proud of my career. I gave him my best shot. You know the other guy, LeBron. Boy, that's why he keeps playing.
You know, they took MVPs away from Kobe too. Because to be honest,
I'm gonna tell you, fellas,
LeBron shouldn't have got that 09-2010 MVP. Kobe should have got all 3 MVPs and 2 rings, but they need to get LeBron so to make a case for him and Kobe.
Yeah, you know how I go, and that's why he's still sticking on. Like I said, man, as long as I'm here, bro, you putting all your chips on the table. You get Luka, you bet you expected to win. You playing with the Lakers' future. This is but that's a whole nother show. And again, I don't even. This is not. It's not even about Kobe. It's not even about Melo. I mean, again, a lot of guys got crazy jokes. I mean, again, Reggie Miller, bro. Reggie Miller is not the 44th best player that ever played, bro. Bro, yo, CJ, do you think Reggie Miller is the top 50 player? You think Reggie Miller is better than Melo or greater than Melo? I mean, it's just like he ain't better than Bernard King, bro. I don't like the fact that Reggie Miller made the MVP. The Hall of Fame before Bernard King, even though Bernard King retired like 14 years ahead of him, just made me sick to my stomach, bro. I'm like, yo, do y'all understand how? Again, I know it was 7 years before he got hurt, but Bernard King, and the fact that the first part about it is both Grant Hill and Bernard King, after they took their major injuries, were better than Reggie Miller in his peak. After they came back from, because remember, Grant Hill came back and he was an all-star 1 year. Grant Hill after all them crazy surgeries. Now Grant Hill before the injury and Bernard King before the injury. Come on, man.
Grant Hill was a top 5 player. He just getting started there.
That's what I'm saying. Like I get it. Like Grant Hill got 6 years. Bernard King got 7 years. But again, and you telling me Reggie? I don't want to kill Reggie because Reggie's a great. But bro, you cannot put these guys ahead of a better player, man. Like I said, when Bernard King came back and got 30 points a game. Reggie Miller never averaged more than 24, and he did that 1 year, more than 21, and he got to 24 1 year. again, it's not just about points. You want to talk about Anthony? Yo, Reggie was not. Man, come on. Because there's other guys up there that they glaze too much too. But I mean, yo, but you know how it goes. This is media. I can guarantee you, a lot of it's media narrative. It's more than 15%, but it is what it is. He said what he said, and maybe they'll come out. Somebody will come out and confirm it. I don't know. Either way, bro. All right, y'all, man. You have a good night, man.
Yes, fellas.
Catch you on the next show.
All right, fellas. Man.
Salute, guys.
Salute.
All right.
All right.
All right.